Hear ye, hear ye. This is your boy Solar Mind. I am live here with the Orthodox Moor and Brother Yahuchanan. And this will be the opening round of Solar Vision Debate League playoffs. So when you come in the building, hit the like button, hit the like button when you come in the building. This is the Solar Vision Debate League, man. Tonight, we got the Orthodox Moor, Brother Yahuchanan. We got the three judges in the building. Tonight's topic is, does Isaiah 53 point to a teacher of righteousness or a ransom sacrifice? So this is for, this is for the record. This is on the record, and this is for the title. And this is a playoff debate. And you already know. Winner goes home, and I said winner goes home. Loser goes home, and the winner moves on. So this is how we rocking. This is what's going to be, family. Just to let you guys know, we're going to be rocking out all weekend with playoff debates. This is the first one. Tomorrow, we're going to have Brother Outside the Cube. He's going up against Brother Abdul solving a race problem. And the topic of that debate is, will voting lead to Black progress? That'll be this Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Later on that night, we're going to have Brother Mikhail going up against G-Con. That should be a very interesting debate right there. G-Con versus Brother Mikhail. And the topic of that debate is, what laws should Christians keep according to the Bible? What laws should Christians keep according to the Bible? So we got a doubleheader tomorrow. Make sure you be in the building for that, family. Tonight's debate, once again, the topic is, does Isaiah 53 point to a teacher of righteousness or a ransom sacrifice? We got Schooler Understanding in the building, along with Judge James. They will be the judges for tonight's debate, along with yours truly, Solar Mind. What's going on, judges?
Shalom, shalom. Can I be heard?
All right, we hear you loud and clear.
To the family.
All right, no doubt. All right, so this will be a 3-judge format debate tonight. Each judge is worth 10 voting points and 1 power point apiece. So now let's introduce the debaters. Orthodox Moor, what's good with your family?
Peace, fam. What it is? How y'all doing tonight?
All right. The young lion, Yahuchanan, what's good with you?
Yo, shalom, yo. Everybody be blessed in the name of Yahuwah through his son, Yahushua Mashiach. Let's do it.
All right. So, it's a customized format debate tonight. We got a 10-minute opening, a 20-minute premise, a 15-minute rebuttal, and a 15-minute rapid fire, and a 5-minute closing. Brother Yahuchanan is set to go first. So we're going to get right into this whole thing. I'm going to set this timer for 5 minutes. And
thought it was 10 minutes.
10 minutes, I'm almost on pilot mode, right? I'm going to set this timer for 10 minutes. And whenever you're ready, you could begin your opening, brother.
I'm ready. You share my share my screen. I got my PowerPoint up.
Yes,
Can
sir.
you see my Can you see my PowerPoint?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm ready. Go ahead and start the time.
Go ahead, brother.
All right, audience. Hey, tonight's debate is Isaiah 53 pointing to a righteous teacher or a ransom sacrifice? My stance is it's pointing to a righteous man who sacrificed himself. Now, my opponent just thinks it's about righteousness, if I'm not mistaken, and he has a problem with blood atonement. But we're going to show you that the Father has ordained in order for a righteous person to be forgiven or be atoned, it requires blood. Now, let's go to Leviticus 17, verse 11. For the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I have given it to you upon the altar to make an atonement for your souls, for it is the blood that maketh an atonement for the soul. Okay? Now, let's go to Deuteronomy 18 and 18 through 19. For this is talking about the Mashiach, Yahushua HaMashiach. Now listen, I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto thee, and will put my words in his mouth. And he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him. And it shall come to pass that whosoever will not hearken unto my words, which he shall speak in my name, I will require it of him. Mashiach was the one that this is talking about. Now let's go to John 5 and 4, 6. For this is Mashiach, Yahushua HaMashiach speaking. It says, for had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. Okay, so what did the Mashiach say? Let's listen to his teachings. Isaiah 53 and 11, it points to this man. Here's what it says. He shall see of the travail of his soul, and shall be satisfied by his knowledge. Shall my righteous servant justify many, for he shall bear their iniquities. And what is this knowledge that the Mashiach had? Okay, here's the knowledge, right? Therefore, as by the offense of one judgment came upon all men to condemnation, even so, and this is Romans 5, 18 through 19. It says, came upon all men to condemnation, even so by the righteousness of one, the free gift came upon all men unto justification of life. For as by one man's disobedience many were made sinners, so by the obedience of one shall many be made righteous. And he knew this. He knew that his death and obedience and righteousness and him being a perfect sacrifice and his life being sacrificed was going to bring many to him. So let's go. And how we know this? This is also part of Torah. So let's go to Joshua chapter 20, verses 1 through 3. Now listen to this. Yahuwah also spake unto Joshua, saying, speak to the children of Israel, saying, appoint out for you cities of refuge, whereof I spake unto you by the hand of Moses, that the slayer that killeth any person unawares and unwillingly may flee there, and they shall bear refuge from the avenger of blood. Isaiah 20, verses 4 through 5. And when he that doeth flee unto one of these cities shall stand at the entering of the gate of the city, and shall declare his cause in the ears of the elders of the city, they shall take him into the city unto them, and give him a place, that he may dwell among them. And if the avenger of blood pursue after him, then they shall not deliver the slayer up into his hand, because he smote his neighbor unwillingly and hated him not before time. Joshua 20 through 6. Now pay attention. And he shall dwell in that city until he stand before the congregation for the judgment, and unto the death. Now listen to this. Unto the death of the high priest that shall be in those days. Then shall the slayer return and come unto his own city, unto his own house, unto the city from whence he fled. So the death of this high priest, the death of this righteous high priest, has reconciled this man back to his land because of the death of that high priest. This is the knowledge that Christ had, or the Mashiach had. Now, Philippians 2 and 8. Now, listen to this. And being found in fashion as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient unto death. What was that death he died? Even the death of the cross. And that was Philippians. That was Philippians 2 and 8. Now, Matthew 20 and 26. Now, listen to this. But it shall not be so among you, but whosoever will be great among you, let him be your minister. And whosoever will be chief among you, let him be your servant. Now, listen what Mashiach says. Even as the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, but to minister and to give his life a ransom for many. He is the righteous atonement. He died for us. His blood is the one that reconciled us back to the Father. And you can tell, and I showed you even based on the law. Not only that, he came with a new covenant. And I'll show that later on, how he ushered in a new covenant, a covenant that brought in forgiveness of sin through his blood. With that, I yield my time.
All right. So yeah, this is definitely playoff mode debating right here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hand this thing over to the Orthodox Moor. The Orthodox Moor. So Orthodox Moor. I'm gonna set the timer for 10 minutes. And whenever you're ready, you can begin your opening, brother.
Okay. Let me share my screen real quick. There we go. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's get to it. So first of all, shout out to the young brother. Shout out to everyone listening, and much appreciation to Solomon for hosting this debate, etc. To be clear right off the top, I never told the brother I have an issue with blood atonement. I have an issue with stipulating that if you say Jesus is the Messiah, I have an issue with you saying that he performed a blood atonement when Isaiah 53 never mentions anything close to such. So can you mute your mic, Brian?
Oh,
Yeah.
my bad.
Sorry about that, brother. Unmute your mic, Orthodox Moor. That was me. I did that by accident. I was trying to mute him out.
Oh, you good?
All right.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, cool. So right off the top, fam, does Isaiah 53 speak on righteousness or a blood offering? Right. Again, like the brother said, it says, by his knowledge, many were turned to righteousness, right? Or many were justified by his knowledge, right? So I want to be clear on something, right? So again, that's stated in Isaiah 53, 6, 11, etc. And this is hearkening to something I'll get into later in Ezekiel 18, etc. But check this out. This is what it all comes down to. There's no Hebrew words for blood, atone, redeem, or ransom in all of Isaiah 53. I'm going to run that one back. There's no Hebrew words for blood, atone, redeem, or ransom in all of Isaiah 53. You watch the brother jump all around the scrolls, right? Showed you stuff from the New Testament, Old Testament, all kind. Didn't show you Isaiah 53. Right? That's the debate right now is Isaiah 53. What's it talking about, right? What's it saying, right? Again, no Hebrew words for blood, atone, redeem, or ransom in all of Isaiah 53. So, again, also, there's no Levites in Isaiah 53 or the New Testament offering or consuming any kind of sacrifice, as broken down in Levi chapters 1 through 7, right? One more time. No Levites described in Isaiah 53 or the New Testament offering or consuming any sacrifice. And I'll break down the consuming part later. As the brother broke down, a new in with this righteous servant. And part of that new covenant is the fact that no more sour grapes, or the proverbs of sour grapes will not be said in the nation anymore, right? And what's this concept of sour grapes, right? This concept of sour grapes is that the son can be punished for the sins of the father. And so he's going to reference later this new covenant, right? We're both going to reference it. We don't beef on the covenant, right? In Jeremiah 31, 29 through 30, it breaks down the fact that this covenant, right, is going to bear the mark of the fact that it's not going to have this proverb in it, right? And again, in Ezekiel 18, I'll jump on this later, you can see this proverb being spoken of again. And in Ezekiel 18, it breaks down the concept of you can save your own soul alive. No need of blood of any type, unless it's figurative. Okay? No literal blood sacrifice needed anywhere in Ezekiel 18. You can save your own soul alive through righteousness and through contemplation. Again, the sacrifices of God are righteousness. And you can see this in Psalms 51, 15 through 19. You can see this again in Ezekiel 14 and 20, where you can see Noah, Daniel, and Job delivering their own souls through righteousness. Yeah, delivering their own souls through righteousness. No blood of Jesus needed anywhere. No blood atonement from anyone else needed anywhere. And in fact, they couldn't save anyone else but themselves with their righteousness. I'll keep going. It specifies that those with a contrite and humble heart and a contrite spirit, that they will be revived. Again, this is no need of blood atonement from anyone else necessary, right? You approach the Most High with a contrite heart, humble spirit, etc., right? And you will get revived. You can see this concept in Isaiah 57:15, Psalms 51:10, Ezekiel 18:31, Matthew 11:29. Right? Here's something I really want to get into, right? Some of the marks of the messiahship of the righteous servant, right? He pours out his soul unto death, i.e., he gave up the ghost, right? Again, one more time, he poured out his soul unto death. His soul, nothing about his flesh, right? And when you, again, the brother and I both confirm Jesus is the Messiah, right? We don't differ on that in any way, shape, or form. We differ on the concept of the manner of his death, apparently, because I believe he died by giving up the ghost. I don't believe he died by getting killed by any spear, etc. I believe he gave up the ghost. And that, again, that's being marked in Isaiah 53:12, as it's marked in Luke 23:46, that he poured out his soul unto death. Father, into your hands I commend my spirit, and gave up the ghost. That's a bloodless death right there. Death of the soul, right? Death from the soul at that, right? Also, with no deceit in his mouth, was he going through all this punishment, this righteous servant? He's being afflicted. He's being oppressed. He's going through all kind of manners of mistreatment. He's teaching the people. He's getting smacked down, beat down, all kind of stuff, slandered, all kind of stuff. And he does not utter a violent word or a deceitful word towards anybody. At the height of it all, when he's getting pinned up on the cross, etc., people are mocking him, casting lots for clothing, etc. At the height of it all, he says, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do." Another mark of his messiahship, right? Again, moving forward, he was entreated by God to travail moral evil. Isaiah 53:6. Again, you can see this in Matthew 26:42, where he agrees to the entreatment. And entreatment is a negotiation. So Isaiah 53 breaks down the concept of the fact that there was that God negotiated with the righteous servant that he was going to travail moral evil. Travail means to exert heavy effort, as in like when a woman is giving birth. That his covenant with the Most High was that he was going to contend with a heavy effort with moral evil. And you see him accepting this, where he says, "Not my will be done, but thine." He accepts this cup that's going to come. He knows what's going to happen, right? Which is why it makes forgiving them even a bigger deal. Moving forward, right? Another sign is he entreats the rebellious apostate transgressors. Isaiah 53:12, right? Most people read this as a concept of he interceded for the transgressors. He did something for them that they couldn't do. That's not what that word there means. That word there that you read is transgress, right? It also means to entreat, cause to entreat. Again, bringing into negotiation, right? Like my brother said, by his knowledge, many turned to righteousness, and he ushered in a new covenant, right? We don't disagree on the new covenant bit, right? Again, Hebrews 12:24 marks the fact that Jesus is the mediator of that new covenant. So 53:12 is not breaking down the fact that he did something for them and they couldn't do. Part of that new covenant is you pick up your cross and you follow me. You pick up that cross daily and you follow me. He's not saying you hop up on a cross and kill yourself daily. He's saying you do righteousness daily. You die into yourself daily. You deny yourself daily. And I don't want to get into too much more, fam. We'll get into it in the next round, right? But check this out. There will be no proof given in any way, shape, or form of any literal blood atonement given in Isaiah 53. None whatsoever. One more time. There will be no proof given in any way, shape, or form from my opponent. Good brother that he is. No proof of any literal blood atonement in Isaiah 53. there will be no proof given of any Levites consuming the just servant in any way, shape, or form as well, right? What do I mean by that? The Levites are meant to consume physically, eat certain portions of certain sacrifices. And depending on what sacrifice you say Jesus is, you have to say that he was consumed. So again, there will be no proof given of any Levites consuming the just or righteous servant of Isaiah 53 anywhere in the New Testament, Old Testament, etc. And with that, I'm going to yield the balance of my time. Peace, fam.
All right. So shout out to the Orthodox Moor for going in with his information. Let's get into this opening now. I want to see what y'all got now. I know y'all been doing this whole thing and putting y'all PowerPoint together and get y'all information tight. Let's get into this opening round, family. So let me go ahead and set this timer. Set this timer for 20 minutes as what was requested. And whenever you're ready, brother. Yeah,
can you share my screen? Can you hear me?
Hear you loud and clear, brother.
All right, but before I go, let me read Psalms 110, 1 through 4 for him to let him know. This is a prophecy about Mashiach. He keeps talking about the Levitical priesthood. So listen to the Psalms 110. It says, for Yahuwah unto the Lord said, Yahuwah said unto my Lord, sit thou at my right hand until I make thee enemy thy footstool. Yahuwah shall send the rod of the strength of out of Zion, and rule thou in the midst of thy enemies. Thy people shall be willing in the day of the power and the beauties of the holiness from the womb of the morning, and thou shalt the dew of thy be. Now listen to this. Yahuwah has sworn and will not repent. Thou art a priest forever, after the order of Melchizedek. So Mashiach was a Melchizedek priest. He was ordained that. This is what Psalms 110 is talking about. So now let's get down to business. Now, listen, if you can see my screen, I'm at Matthew 26, 27 through 28. And listen to this. And he took the cup and gave thanks. This is Mashiach, Yahushua talking, and gave it to them, saying, drink ye all of it, for this is my blood of the new covenant, which is shed for many for the remissions of sins. This is Mashiach talking. Now, Luke 9, verse 56. Now listen to this. For the Son of Man is not come to destroy men's lives, but to save them. And they went to another village. Now listen to this. Isaiah 53, verses 4 through 5. Surely he hath borne our griefs and carried our sorrows, yet we did esteem him stricken, smitten of Elohim, and afflicted. But he was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed. Now, listen to this. Isaiah 53, verses 6 through 10. All we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned everyone to his own way, and Yahuwah hath laid on him the iniquity of us all. He has taken from prison and from judgment, and he who shall declare his generation, for he was cut off out of the land of the living, meaning he died, he was killed. For the transgressions of my people was he stricken. Now listen to this. And he made his grave with the wicked and the rich in his death, because he had done no violence, neither was any deceit in his mouth. Now listen to this. Yet it pleased Yahuwah to bruise him. He hath put him to grief when thou shalt make his soul an offering for sin. I don't know if this brother reads the Torah, but there is a sin offering rule. It's a law for it, and we're going to go into it because he said that it was not a sin offering. So we're finna get into this. He said, an offering for sin. He shall see his seed, and he shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of Yahuwah shall prosper. So when he see his seed, he's going to see his labor. The fruits of his labor he shall see. Now listen to this. Let's go to Leviticus. Let's get into the law of the sin offering. Leviticus 7, chapter 7, 1 through 3. Now listen to this. Likewise, this is the law of the sin offering. It is most holy. In the place where they kill the burnt offering, shall they kill the trespass offering or the sin offering, and the blood thereof shall he sprinkle. Now notice it's requiring blood. It said, blood shall he sprinkle round about upon the altar, and he shall offer of it all the fat thereof, the rump and the fat that covereth the inwards. Okay. Now Leviticus chapter 7, verses 4 through 6. And the two kidneys and the fat that is on them, which is by the flanks, and the caul that is above the liver, with the kidneys, it shall he take away. And the priest shall burn them upon the altar for an offering made by fire unto Yahuwah. It is a sin offering. Every male among the priests shall eat thereof. It shall be eaten in the holy place. It is most holy. Leviticus chapter 7:7. As the sin offering is, so is the trespass offering. There is one law for them. The priest that make atonement therein shall have it. And this is what our Christ, our Mashiach Yahushua did. By his blood, he has, and I tell you, by his blood, he has redeemed us. It is the greatest story ever told. And to make a mockery of it, to water it down when a man has given his life for sinners, for people who do not deserve the mercy of our Father, but to water it down. We won't have it today. We will stand for Christ and him crucified. He died for your sins, my opponent. He made atonement for you. Now, Isaiah 53:12. Therefore will I divide him a portion with the great, and he shall divide the spoil with the strong, because he hath poured out his soul unto death, and he was numbered with the transgressors, and he bare the sins of many and made intercession for the transgressors, bro. He made intercession for you. He made it for me. He made it for everybody on here, brother. God gave his only son. Now listen to this, Romans 3:25, whom God has sent forth to be an atonement through faith in his blood, to declare his righteousness for the remission of sins that are past through the forbearance of Elohim or God. Luke 24, verses 44 through 46. And he said unto them, these are the words which I spake unto you while I was yet with you, that all things must be fulfilled, which were written in the law of Moses and in the prophets and in the Psalms concerning me. Then opened their mouth, then he opened their understanding that they might understand the scriptures. Brother, I pray that the Mashiach open up your understanding, that you know how precious his blood is. And he said unto them, thus it is written, and thus it behold, Mashiach to suffer and to raise from the dead the third day. Leviticus 24, verses 47 through 48. And that repentance and remission of sins should be preached in his name among all nations, beginning at Jerusalem. And ye are witnesses of these things. And this is what the apostles witnessed. They witnessed this man's death and his burial and resurrection. And we believe that he is from Deuteronomy chapter 8, who Moses was talking about. And this man is telling people that he was died for their sins. And his blood was shed to bring remission of their sins. Romans 5, 8 through 10. But God commanded his love towards us, in that while we were yet sinners, Mashiach died for us. Much more than being now justified, we're now justified by his blood. We shall be saved from wrath through him. For if when we were enemies, we were reconciled to God by the death of his son, much more being reconciled, we shall be saved by his life. Ephesians 1 through 7. Listen to this. On whom we have redemption through his blood, the forgiveness of sins according to the riches of his grace. Revelations 1 and 5. Listen to this. And from Yahushua HaMashiach, who is the faithful witness and the first begotten of the dead and the prince of the kings of the earth, unto him that loved us and washed us from our sins in his blood. Okay, I yield my time.
All right. Yeah, man. That brother came with some powerful points right there, bro. We're gonna now hand this thing over to my man, Orthodox Moor. We're gonna go ahead and first delete that time right there, and then we're gonna set this timer for 20 minutes. Whenever you're ready, brother, you can begin your opening. Orthodox Moor, unmute your mic, brother.
Yeah, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So I appreciate the young brother's passion. I appreciate this fire, but you can read them verses as loud as you want to, bro. and as fire as you want to, and cut as much of your own time as you want to, but you're never going to make them say what you want them to say. Again, I made the simple claim, and you could have took my head off mad easy, right? Simple claim was no Hebrew words for blood, atone, redeem, or ransom anywhere in Isaiah 53. Okay. And so, like you said, there were like I agree with you, right? Melchizedek priesthood. Jesus came through with the Melchizedek priesthood, right? Completely with that, right? With the Melchizedek priesthood, you see like the bread and wine offering. You don't see animal sacrifice, right? You see Jesus breaking out the bread and wine offering to his disciples, of which it's not literally his flesh and it's not literally his blood that they're eating and drinking, right? So just to be clear, and that's the point, bro. Is you're trying to make all this figurative stuff literal and you don't see it. I have no disrespect whatsoever for the Messiah coming through, being a prophet, being the Son of God, teaching, going through his affliction, dying on the cross, etc., resurrection, etc. No issue with that whatsoever. I got an issue with the fact that people are superimposing a horror story onto the gospel and the scripture that's not there. Y'all are trying to tell me this story about this silence of the Passover lambs, where my dude's getting like you went straight from Melchizedek priesthood back to Leviticus, right? Back to actual sacrifice, right? So you're telling me my man's either got carved up into multiple pieces, he either got burnt up, or he got eaten, and his skin was used as a monument, right? Did any of this happen? I don't read that in the scrolls. So y'all got to show me this silence of the Passover lamb gospel that I don't have. You feel me? Because you're trying to give me that story plus some vampire salvation on top of that, to where I need someone else's blood to do something for me. Again, did Noah, did Daniel, did Job, did they need anybody to die for them? No, it says again, Ezekiel 14 and 20, that they delivered their own souls through righteousness, right? Again, so just gonna leave that on now. Right? So let's get to some basic stuff real quick. Was Jesus a ram or a lamb or an ineligible sacrifice? Because on the one hand, you want to call him the Passover lamb. I'm with that. And at the same point in time, you want to tell me that the sacrifice that happened with Abraham and Isaac was a foreshadowing of the sacrifice of Jesus. Now, I agree with that. I just think that you see it different and you see it wrong, right? Incorrect. I don't want to say wrong, but incorrect, right? So let's jump to that real quick, because in that whole breakdown, they talk about a ram and a burnt offering and all that other type of stuff, right? So let's see if this story actually fits the story of what happened to Jesus, right? So let me go to Genesis 22 real quick. So we see right off the top, right? Hold on. And it came to pass after these things that God did tempt Abraham. Interesting concept right off the top. You see that God is tempting Abraham. Please keep that in mind, that it starts off with his temptation. And said unto him, Abraham, and he said, behold, here I am. And he said, take now thy son, thine only son Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I will tell of thee. And Abraham rose up early in the morning and saddled his ass, and took two of his young men with him, and Isaac his son, and clave the wood for the burnt offering, and rose up and went unto the place of which God had told him. Then on the third day Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place afar. And Abraham said unto his young men, abide ye here with the ass, and I and the lad will go yonder and worship and come again to you. And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it upon Isaac his son, and he took the fire in his hand and a knife, and they went both of them together. And Isaac spake unto Abraham his father and said, my father. And he said, here I am, my son. And he said, behold the fire in the wood, but where is the lamb for the burnt offering? And Abraham said, my son, God will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering. So they went both of them together. And they came to the place which God had told him of. And Abraham built an altar there and laid the wood in order, and bound Isaac his son, and laid him on the altar upon the wood. And Abraham stretched forth his hand and took the knife to slay his son. One more time. Abraham stretched forth his hand and took the knife to slay his son. And the angel of the Lord called unto him out of heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here I am. And he said, Lay not thy hand upon the lad now, that do thou anything unto him. For now I know that thou fearest God, seeing that thou hast not withheld thy son, thine only son, from me. And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him a ram caught in a thicket by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered him up for the burnt offering instead of his son. So right off the top, let's really examine what happens to Isaac right there. Because this is what I'm trying to tell you, family. He poured out his soul unto death and then gave up the ghost, right? What am I saying here? I'm saying that we can see clearly there that when Isaac was about to be sacrificed, angel said, stop, don't do it. He was spared from the knife. Spared from the knife. Let me jump onto this one real quick. Because when Jesus is on the cross, we hear this concept of him saying, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? Most people think that it's a moment of weakness for Jesus, the Messiah, etc. Right? However, most don't know that it's his biggest moment of strength. At the midst of his affliction, he recites a Psalm of David that the Most High inspires David to write, just so my man can recite it while he's on the cross. Okay. Let me go through just a little bit. My God, why hast thou forsaken me? Why art thou so far from helping me and from the words of my roaring? Oh my God, I cry in the daytime, but thou hearest not, and in the night season, and am not silent, right? You've heard a lot of this before, right? But let me cut straight to this bit here. Deliver my soul from the sword. Save me from the lion's mouth, for thou hast heard me from the horns of the unicorn. I will declare thy name unto my brethren. In the midst of the congregation will I praise thee. Right? Again, deliver my soul from the sword. This is what my man's reciting from the cross, right? And then you hear him, then you read him say, Father, into your hands I commend my spirit. There is no blood sacrifice anywhere. The manner of his death is by him giving up the ghost. Check this out. Let's check out what happened to Isaac. Again, same person, or same sacrifice of imagery, right? The only son being sacrificed, right? Now it says Isaac in Genesis 35:29. He gave up the ghost and he died. Right? Old age. That happened naturally. He gave up the ghost and he died. When Jesus gives up the ghost, he dies. Right? Now that at that moment, this is basic. At that moment, he is no longer eligible to be a sacrifice for anything, because you have to bring a living sacrifice. A living sacrifice. Again, he gives up the ghost before he gets stuck by a spear and the blood spurts out. No Levite stabs him. No sprinkling the blood by any Levite, by the way. No burnt offering, no divvying up the body, etc. Right? But we're going to jump into all that right now. Right now. The law for performing the burnt offering, because that's what was said what was done here. A burnt offering. Isaac was going to be a burnt offering, but was not. And a ram was given instead for the burnt offering. So let's go to Levi 1 through 17 and a few other verses just to break this down real quick. Levi 6 and 9, Levi 7, etc. Right? So Levi 1. Okay. And the Lord called unto Moses and spake unto him out of the tabernacle of the congregation, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and saying to them, If any man of you bring an offering unto the Lord, ye shall bring your offering of the cattle, even the herd and of the flock. If his offering be a burnt sacrifice of the herd, let him offer a male without blemish. He shall offer it of his own voluntary will at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation before the Lord. And he shall put his hand upon the head of the burnt offering, and it shall be accepted for him to make an atonement for it. And he shall kill the bullock before the Lord and the priests. And Aaron's son shall bring the blood and sprinkle the blood round about upon the altar that is by the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. Now, my dude, you went to Levi. And you try to point out the fact that my man that he was some kind of burnt offering, right? So did this happen? Was he killed at the door of the tabernacle? Was his blood sprinkled by the Levites? Did that happen anywhere? I'm missing that part of my gospel. If you got that one, please break it out for me. My book might be missing that chapter. And he shall flay the burnt offering and cut it into pieces. Again, I missed this part of the scrolls. I don't remember Jesus getting flayed and cut into pieces. What I remember being broken into pieces was a piece of bread that he gave to his peoples when he was drinking wine with them. Again, Melchizedek priesthood. You want to bring me back to Levi? This is what I'm expecting from you. I need to see this happen in the New Testament now. I don't see this happening. I don't see this happening nowhere. Right? But let me just keep moving real quick. Because we do see an offering given in the New Testament, right? Matter of fact, let me go to it real quick. We see the parents of Jesus, they actually give a sin and a burnt offering. A sin and a burnt. So we know that the Levites are there doing it. We know that it's happening. We know people are available for it. And again, like I said, I know they weren't there for Jesus on the cross, divvying up his body, sprinkling blood. I don't see that nowhere. But I can see them doing what they're supposed to do when it comes to this sacrifice here. Let me go to Luke 22, 24, right? Yeah. Oh, wait, I got the wrong one. Excuse me, family. 2 and 20, there we go. And when the days of her purification, according to the laws of Moses, were accomplished, they brought him to Jerusalem to present him to the Lord, as it is written in the law of the Lord: every male that openeth the womb shall be called holy to the Lord, and to offer a sacrifice according to that which is said in the law of the Lord, a pair of turtle doves or 2 young pigeons. Right? So where is that found? And again, this is for Jesus, just so you know. So what is this about, right? So basically, whenever a woman gives birth or whatever, right, the bodily fluid that she discharges makes her ceremonially unclean. And so on the 8th day after certain things happen, you know what I'm saying, she goes and she offers sacrifice to the temple for purification. And again, we see this in Leviticus 15, 19 through 30. Right? Excuse me. Right over here, right? I'll show you that real quick. 15. Wow. And if a woman have an issue, and her issue is an issue in her flesh be blood, she shall put apart 7 days, and whoever toucheth her shall be unclean until the evening, right? And so when you get down to it, right, she's supposed to, on the 8th day, she shall take unto her 2 turtles and 2 young pigeons, supposed to be turtle doves, excuse me, and bring them unto the priest to the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And the priest shall offer the one for a sin offering and the other for a burnt offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for her before the Lord for the issue of her uncleanliness, right? So again, in Luke, we see that the Levites are there doing their job in terms of making the offerings and whatnot. Can my man show me a single Levite doing his deal with Jesus? And can we see him divvying up the burnt offering like he said he was and chopping the body up? I don't see that happening. And can we see him going on the altar and being burnt like a burnt offering supposed to be? I don't see that happening anywhere. Again, if you got this in your scroll, please show it to me, bro. I'm missing. As a brother, show it to me, right? I'm not a big fan of this whole story of Silence of the Passover lambs or whatnot, and this whole vampirism salvation. But if it's in the scrolls and I'm missing it, show it to me. Just show it to me. Again, don't say it loud. Just show it to me. You can say it loud, but show it to me. Right? Let me break down the law of the sin offering for a nation, a king, or an individual, right? And for this, we go to Leviticus chapter 4 and verses 5, and chapter 5, right? And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, If a soul shall sin through ignorance against any of the commandments of the Lord concerning things which ought not to be done, and shall do against any of them, if the priest that is anointed to do sin according to the sin of the people, then let him bring for his sin which he hath sinned a young bullock without blemish unto the Lord for a sin offering. And he shall bring the bullock unto the door of the tabernacle. Again, you got to bring everything to the door of the tabernacle and kill it there. I don't see that happening with Jesus, right? And he shall bring the bullock unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation before the Lord, and shall lay his hand upon the bullock's head and kill the bullock before the Lord. That did not happen with Jesus. And the priest that is anointed shall take of the bullock's blood and bring it to the tabernacle of the congregation. Didn't see that happen. Again, sprinkling. And the priest shall dip his finger in the blood and sprinkle of the blood 7 times before the Lord, before the veil of the sanctuary. Did not see that happen. And the priest shall put some of the blood upon the horns of the altar of sweet incense before the Lord, which is in the tabernacle of the congregation, and shall pour all the blood of the bullock at the bottom of the altar of the burnt offering, which is at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. Did not see that happen. And shall take of the fat from it, and all the fat of the bullock for the sin offering, the fat that covereth the inwards, and all the fat that is upon the inwards. I'm not seeing that happening. And the 2 kidneys and the fat that is upon them, which is by the flanks, and the caul above the liver, with the kidneys, he shall take away. Right? As it was taken off from the bullock of the sacrifice of peace offerings. And the priest shall burn them upon the altar of the burnt offering. I did not see any of that. Now, peep game. And the skin of the bullock, and all his flesh with his head, and with his legs, and his inwards, and his dung. I'm not seeing none of that, right? None of that. None of that. None of that. I could get way into it, fam. I'm gonna leave some of it alone, right? But it breaks down what an offering is for the nation, for the king, and for the individual, right? The nation, the king, and the individual. And it gives you different animals for each, right? I'm in the wrong spot. But bottom line is, right? Nowhere do you see any of those being satisfied with what Jesus did. He didn't go through none of that. He didn't go through anything like that. Now my brother's gonna go to Isaiah 53 and pretend that it says all that stuff there, right? He's gonna read a whole bunch of words he doesn't understand. He's reading, right? He's gonna read stuff. Matter of fact, let me just go to it. Let me just go to it and just stop while I'm ahead, right? Because it really comes down to these 2 verses right here that most people get mixed up in English because they're horrible translations in English. All right, and the Hebrew is going to be extremely clear. Isaiah 53:11, right? He shall see of the travail of his soul and shall be satisfied. By his knowledge shall my righteous servant justify many. By his knowledge shall my righteous servant justify many. This word justify, again, they think it's something that he's doing for them that they cannot do for themselves. All right. I'm going to break that down in a quick second. For he shall bear their iniquities. Therefore will I divide him a portion with the great, and he will divide the spoil with the strong, because he hath poured out his soul unto death, and he was numbered with the transgressors, and he bare the sin of many, and made intercession for the transgressors. Again, this one right here really gets people. And he bare the sin of many and made intercession for the transgressors. Now let's get into this, right? Justify. What does justify mean? By his knowledge shall my righteous servant justify, sadak, right? To be caused to make right in a moral or forensic sense, right? To cleanse, clear self, right? To turn to righteousness.
Time. Now, what verse was that you was talking about? That was Isaiah 53.
We're in 11 right now.
All right, cool. Got you. So we're gonna move forward. Shout out to Orthodox Moor for dropping that science right there. We're gonna hand this thing over now to the young lion man.
Can you hear me?
Yes, brother. Give me 1 second while I get this timer all situated. You're going into the rebuttal round. So the rebuttal round is 15 minutes for the rebuttal. Let me go ahead and set this time real quick. And whenever you're ready, brother, you can begin.
Yeah, go ahead and share my screen. I'm ready. Now, let's address Ezekiel chapter 18. Now, what that was talking about was that you cannot punish, say, and this is a law for us men, say if your son stole from me, I can't punish you for your son stealing from me. This is a Torah instruction for us as mankind. To address his Leviticus chapter 4, that said unintentional sin. What I'm reading in Isaiah is talking about sin. These people purposely sin. So what you're reading in Isaiah 4 has nothing to do with Isaiah 53, which this is intentional sin. These guys are purposely wicked. So you can cut that out. I said nothing about a burnt offering. I said the law of the sin offering. You're talking about a burnt offering. So you're going somewhere else. So listen here. Now let me share my screen with Deuteronomy chapter 9, verses 5 through 6, and see what how righteousness, how it's okay, but it's not really that much of just, I'm going to go to Deuteronomy 9, 5 through 6. Listen to this. This is when they get ready to go on the land. He says, not for thy righteousness or for the uprightness of thy heart does thou go to possess the land, but for the wickedness of these nations, Yahuwah thy Elohim, or God, doeth drive them out from before thee, and that he may perform the word which Yahuwah swore unto thy fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Understand, therefore, that Yahuwah thy God giveth thee not this good land to possess it for thy righteousness, for thou art a stiff-necked people. Isaiah 64 and 6. But we are all as an unclean thing, and all our righteousness are as filthy rags, and we all do fade as a leaf, and our iniquities, like the wind, have taken us away. Philippians 3 and 9. And we be found in him, not having my own righteousness, which is of the law, but that which is through the faith of Mashiach, the righteousness which is of God by faith. Remember, it said the just in the Torah, it said the just shall live by faith. Hebrews 9 and 22. Listen to this. And according to the law, almost all things are purified with blood, and without shedding of blood, there is no remission of sins. This is Hebrews chapter 9, verses 22. Now listen to this, Ezekiel 40 and 20, how the blood cleanses and cleans. You shall take some of its blood and put it on the four horns of the altar, on the four corners of the ledge, and on the rim around it. Thus you shall cleanse it and make atonement for it. Leviticus 8 and 15. And Moses killed it.
Brother, hit me with that Ezekiel thing. What was that?
Oh, this is Ezekiel 43 and 20.
Gotcha.
Okay. Leviticus 8 and 15. And Moses killed it. Then he took the blood and put some on the horns of the altar all around with his finger and purified the altar. That's what the blood did. It purified the altar. And he poured the blood at the base of the altar and consecrated it to make atonement for it, because that's what blood does. It can make atonement. 2 Chronicles 29, verses 23 to 24. Then they brought out the male goats for the sin offering before the king and the assembly, and they laid their hands on them. And the priest killed them. And they presented their blood on the altar as a sin offering to make atonement for all Israel. For the king commanded that the burnt offering and the sin offering be made for all Israel. Jeremiah 31, 30. I'll skip that. Okay. All right, Matthew 27, 9 through 10. Leviticus 16. 13 through 14. Now, this is talking about the Day of Atonement. And check this out. And he shall put the incense upon the fire before Yahuwah, that the cloud of the incense may cover the mercy seat. That is upon the testimony that he died not. And he shall take of the blood of the bullock and sprinkle it with his fingers upon the mercy seat eastward. And before the mercy seat shall he sprinkle of the blood with his fingers 7 times. Leviticus 16, verses 15 through 16. Then shall he kill the goat of the sin offering, that is for the people, and bring his blood within the veil, and do with that blood as he did with the blood of the bullock, and sprinkle it upon the mercy seat and before the mercy seat. And he shall make an atonement for the holy place, because the uncleanness of the children of Israel, and because of the transgressions and all their sins, and so shall he do for the tabernacle of the congregation that remaineth among them in the midst of their uncleanness. All right. All right. So we see all these things foreshadowing our Mashiach. This is the thing. This is what Christ's blood did. It atoned for us. It brought us back into reconciliation with the Heavenly Father. Now, he said I did not mention nothing about that, but as I read in Isaiah 53 and 12, we talked about the Asham, which that's what that means. It is an Asham. It is a sin offering. And I took you into Leviticus chapter 7 to explain the laws of the sin offering. So at this time, I yield my time.
All right, no doubt, no doubt. Shout out to the young lion for dropping that powerful information. We're going to now hand this thing over to Orthodox Moor, the Moorish assassin. Is up. You're up to bat. Hold on, let me get up out of here real quick so we can get this timer all set. All right, brother. Orthodox Moor, you can unmute your mic.
Peace, fam. So again, the brother didn't answer any of the basic stuff from Isaiah 53 in terms of the blood, the atonement, the ransom, or the redeeming being mentioned anywhere in the Hebrew, right? These are real basic stuff, basic things that can just take me out at any point in time. But there's a couple things I want to touch on before I get in my rebuttal real quick. He said that he broke down a sin offering. Okay. Now again, this word Asham, it's not a sin offering; it's a trespass offering. This is a whole different offering. Whole different offering. Let me share my screen. I'll break that one down in a quick second. But again, Asham is a trespass offering. And for that, you got to go to Leviticus 7 and 1 and Leviticus 5, 6 and 19 to get the laws on that. He didn't read you that. Matter of fact, he just read you Leviticus 16, right? Talking about a goat. So I need to know, is Jesus a goat? Is he a ram or is he a lamb? Y'all make up your mind, fam. You let me know. You let me know, right? So again, let's jump into this whole basic concept of where I left off, right? Isaiah 53, 11. Because we agree on this verse. He started out, he read it on his own, right? He shall see the travail of his soul and shall be satisfied. By his knowledge shall my righteous servant justify many, for he shall bear their iniquities, right? By his knowledge shall my righteous servant justify, make morally clean, right? Cause to become morally clean, right? Many. And he shall make intercession for the transgressors. Please let me get into this one. This word for intercession, it means to entreat. Entreat. Cause to entreat. Impinge. Impinge means the same thing as entreat. Entreat means to negotiate, right? Basically cause to come to a covenant. So let me tell you what this actually says, right? Yeah, real, just basic English, right? He shall see the travail of his soul, and he shall be satisfied. By his knowledge shall my righteous servant cause many to come to righteousness, for he shall bear their iniquities. And let me just read that one more time, so you don't see I'm interpolating, right? I'm not interpolating this. This is what the word means. Turn to righteousness. Cause to make right. Turn to righteousness. I'm not interpolating this. He shall by his knowledge, my righteous servant shall cause many to come to righteousness, or turn to righteousness. Therefore will I divide him a portion with the great, and shall divide the spoil with the strong. Who is the great and who is the strong? In the Q&A round, I'm gonna ask you all day about Ezekiel 14, 20, and 14, right? About Noah, Job, Daniel, and all them type of people, right? Because
so
they delivered
the verse with intercession was in 53:11.
12.
Okay.
So 11 has to do with justify, and 12 has to do with the intercession. This one right here.
Okay, I see intercession now. Okay, got you.
You good? No, you good. So who is this? Who is this strong and who is this great? Right? Again, so Noah, Daniel, Job, three people in Ezekiel 14 deliver their own souls via righteousness. These are the strong and the great. These are the type of people, right? Because they're following the same entreatment of righteousness, the same covenant of righteousness. 100%, right? So again, my brother cited the new covenant again. This right here, right? This concept of my righteous servant justify many. Okay, by his knowledge, right? And he acknowledged there's a new covenant. He even acknowledged a little bit about Ezekiel 18, right? So let's jump into this new covenant, right? What's one of the marks of this new covenant? And it shall come to pass that, like as I have watched over them to pluck up and to break down and to throw down and to destroy and to afflict, so will I watch over them to build and plant, saith the Lord. In those days they shall say no more, the fathers have eaten a sour grape, and the children's teeth are set on edge. But everyone shall die for his own iniquity. Every man that eateth the sour grape, his teeth shall be set on edge. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was a husband unto them, and saith the Lord. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, saith the Lord, I will put my law in their inward parts, and write it in their hearts, and will be their God, and they shall be my people. And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, Know the Lord, for they shall all know me, for the least of them unto the greatest of them, saith the Lord. For I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more. Now let's jump to where he's trying to avoid what this is talking about, because this is jumping straight into Ezekiel 18. Right? It says this again, sour grapes, people. You heard the concept of sour grapes, right? Ezekiel 18:1. The word of the Lord came unto me again, saying, What mean ye that ye use this proverb concerning the land of Israel, saying the fathers have eaten sour grapes, and the children's teeth are set on edge? As I live, saith the Lord God, ye shall not have occasion any more to use this proverb in Israel. Behold, all souls are mine. As the soul of the Father, so also the soul of the Son is mine. The soul that sinneth, it shall die. Let me jump down to where it gets into a long breakdown, but it cuts it real short right here. When a righteous man turneth away from his righteousness and committeth iniquity and dieth in them for his iniquity that he hath done, shall he die. Again, when the wicked man turneth away from his wickedness that he hath committed and doeth that which is lawful and right, he shall save his soul alive, because he considereth and turn away from all his transgressions that he hath committed. He shall surely live, he shall not die. Yet saith the house of Israel, the way of the Lord is not equal. O house of Israel, are not my words equal? Are not your ways unequal? Therefore, I will judge you, O house of Israel, everyone according to his ways, saith the Lord God. Repent. Now, this is the one right here. Therefore, I will judge you, O house of Israel, everyone according to his ways. Now, I'm not even going to finish. I'm going to jump straight out to this real quick. Back to Isaiah 53. What is it saying there? Again, he just said, I'm going to judge everybody according to his ways. Give me 2 seconds real quick.
So when you was
And
at
like sheep, and like, hold on real quick, and like sheep, we have gone astray. We have turned everyone to his own way. Talking about their own apostasy. Go ahead, bro.
no, go ahead, you got it.
No, you good. Go ahead.
I was going to say in Ezekiel 18:28, you started at the top. What verse was that?
So I went 1 through 4.
Okay,
and then I dropped down to excuse me real quick.
I got that. I got the last part.
Part. Yeah, okay. So again, everyone had turned to their own way, because I'm going right back to Ezekiel 18. It says in Isaiah 53 that everyone had gone astray and went their own way. Finishing it out. Therefore, I will judge you, a house of Israel, everyone according to his ways, saith the Lord God. Repent and turn yourselves from all your transgressions, so iniquity shall not be your ruin. Cast away from you all your transgressions, whereby ye have transgressed, and make you a new heart and a new spirit. For why will ye die, O house of Israel? For I have no pleasure in the death of him that dieth, saith the Lord God. Wherefore, turn yourselves and live. Now, watch what it says here. Going right back to it. He shall see the travail of his soul and shall be satisfied by his knowledge. Shall my righteous servant justify many? We're going right back to that word justify. Because the Most High just said, turn yourselves and live. Turn to righteousness, right? And so what does this word mean? To turn to righteousness. Tell me I'm lying, family. Tell me that means blood. Huh? I'm saying, fam, I don't understand where you're getting this story, right? Oh, my man wants to go. Hold on. Since I just cleared that up real quick, right? My man wants to go to this whole concept of it's a sin offering. No, it's not a sin offering. It's not a sin offering that it says is going to happen in Isaiah 53. It's like you said, a sham. It is a trespass offering, and for that we got to go to Leviticus 5:6-19 and Leviticus 7:1-7 to see, is this what happened to Jesus? Through 19. Did this happen to Jesus? First of all, is he a female lamb? I need to know that. Is he a female? Is that in your scrolls? Nope. Okay. And if you can't bring a lamb, okay. 2 turtle doves, 2 pigeons. Is he pigeons? Is he doves now? Which one is he? And again, and he shall bring them unto the priest, who shall offer them, or offer that which is for the sin offering first, and wring off his head from his neck, but shall not divide it asunder. And he shall sprinkle of the blood of the sin offering upon the side of the altar, and the rest of the blood shall be wrung out of the bottom of the altar. It is a sin offering, right? And the second, right, because this is what the trespass offering is, 2 offerings, right? And he shall offer the second for a burnt offering. Now I don't have to say you said burnt offering, bro. The moment you're trying to cite Isaiah 53, it's talking about that indirectly because of what a trespass offering is. It's different than just a regular sin offering. It has 2 things that you do for it, right? According to the manner, and the priest shall make an atonement for him. And he shall for the second for a burnt offering, according to the manner of a burnt offering, and the priest shall make an atonement for him for his sin which he hath sinned, and it shall be forgiven, right? Again. If you can't do that, bring the turtle doves, right? Etc. Oh, excuse me. I actually read the wrong spot. If a soul committed trespass, and a sin through ignorance, there we go. Same thing though, right? Now I read the right part. Now let me go to Leviticus 7, right? Did any of this happen? Likewise, this breaks it down even clear. This is the law of the trespass offering. It is most holy. In the place where they kill the burnt offering, shall they kill the trespass offering, and the blood thereof shall he sprinkle round upon the altar. Again, none of this happened to Jesus. And he shall offer it and all the fat thereof, the rump and the fat that covereth the inwards. This didn't happen. He got to get carved up for this. Did not happen. and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is on them, which is by the flanks, and the caul that is above the liver, with the kidneys, it shall he take away. That did not happen. He did not get carved up like that. And the priest shall burn them upon the altar for an offering made by fire unto the Lord. It is a trespass offering. All right? And every male among the priests shall eat thereof. It shall be eaten in the holy place. It is most holy. Tell me when that happened. When did that Sweeney Todd bit happen? I'm missing this whole Sweeney Todd bit portion to my Gospels, fam. When did the priest sit down and eat Jesus, fam? Where does it allude to this? Anywhere in Isaiah 53? Where? Because it alludes to everything I'm saying, and that you saw Jesus talking about, right? Jesus taught this. Hold on, real quick. Where is it at? Again, he taught us to pick up the cross and follow him daily, right? You see this all Luke 9:23, Matthew 16:24, Mark 8:34, right? Is he saying die every day literally? No, it's a figurative thing. He's breaking down in John 6:30-60 that he's the bread of life. Are you supposed to eat him literally? Can we even eat Jesus literally now? Not possible, fam. Last Supper, he breaks down the fact that it's his blood, his flesh that you're eating and drinking. Luke 22, right? Is it literal? No, fam. No, it can't be. It can't be. Otherwise, we're talking vampirism. Vampirism. So in Luke 14:12-15, he breaks down this one concept. The resurrection of the just. Then he said also to him that bade him, when thou makest the dinner or a supper, call not thy friends, nor thy brethren, neither thy kinsmen, nor the rich neighbors, thy rich neighbors, lest they also bid thee again, and recompense be made thee. I.e., they can pay you back, they can do you favors. But when thou makest the feast, call the poor, the maimed, the lame, the blind, and thou shalt be blessed, for they cannot recompense thee. For thou shalt be recompensed at the resurrection of the just. The resurrection of the just, not the resurrection of my blood, the resurrection of the righteous.
All right. Shout out to Orthodox Moor for dropping that science. Oh, it's time to get to the rapid fire round, man. So what we're going to do here is we're going to set the timer. It's already set for 15 minutes. Since the brother went first, since the brother Young Lion, brother Yahuchanan went first, we will allow Orthodox Moor to ask the first question. So whenever you're ready, brother, you can ask the first question.
First question.
Shalom.
Shalom, brother, man. Shalom. How you living? So, first question. Is there a single solitary word in Hebrew for blood, atone, redeem, or ransom anywhere in the entirety of Isaiah 53?
Let's go to Isaiah 53:10.
Okay.
Now, it said that his soul shall be offered as an asham, sin offering. Yes or no?
I'm still waiting for you to answer my question, but I'm not answering the questions yet.
I told you that it's in Isaiah 53:10.
Okay, so what word is for blood, atone, ransom, or redeem?
There's no word that says blood atone. What we're looking at is a sin offering.
Okay, so the simple question was, bro, can you cite any word for any of the four?
What's the sin offering requiring, brother?
You tell me.
It requires blood and it requires atonement, according to Leviticus chapter 7, verses 1 through whatever.
Okay, so since you just asked me a question back, now I'm going to ask you a question real quick. So what you just said was this.
You didn't answer my question though. In Leviticus chapter 7, right? That is the sin offering, and does it not require blood for atonement?
Yes, 100%.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, so here's what I want to know. He made his soul an offering for sin. Okay, this is what it says in Isaiah 53, right? When thou shalt make his soul, that word for soul is nefesh, right? An offering for sin. Anywhere in Leviticus 7, you just said Leviticus 7, correct?
Correct.
Anywhere in Leviticus 7 is the soul a proper offering for sin that you're talking about.
It doesn't mention a soul there.
Okay, so it mentions a soul here in Isaiah 53. It doesn't mention blood. That's why you got me all kind of confused.
Okay, now listen. Since you asked your question, I answer it. Now, who offered up his soul for sin offering? In the chapter Isaiah 53, who offered up his soul?
Himself.
No, who offered up his soul for a sin offering?
In Isaiah 53?
Yes.
It says, I'm looking at it right here. It says, he have, excuse me, let me scroll down.
Did not the Lord or Yahuwah or Tetragrammaton, did not the Tetragrammaton offer him?
Whoa. He hath poured out his soul into death. Am I reading that wrong? Isaiah 53:12. Therefore will I divide him a portion with the great, and he shall divide the spoil with the strong, because he hath poured out his soul into death. Am I reading that wrong?
Yeah, he poured it up, but who offered it?
Oh, then you got to help me out, bro, because I don't see that. I'm telling you the part that I see in the verse. What do you see? What words are you looking at to explain what you're talking about?
Listen, verse 10, it says, yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him. He hath put him to grief. When thou shalt make his soul an offering for sin, it's the Most High, the Tetragrammaton, Yahuwah, who has offered his soul for sin offering.
Is that what it says there?
Isaiah 53 and 10. Remember, the verse said he was smitten by God.
Okay, hold on. Let's check this out real quick. Is that what it says there? So what are you saying this word says?
Listen here, Isaiah
that he was offered. So where's the word where was he offered by the Most High anywhere?
Yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him. He, the Lord, hath put him to grief. When thou shalt make his soul, who's making his soul?
Okay, so you're saying it pleased the Lord to bruise him. Okay, so this word for bruise is offering up, right? So this word it means to humble, right? To contrite, to be made contrite, like the concept of a contrite spirit being the sacrifice that the Lord requires. You understand that, right? It doesn't mean offer up, bro. Like where does it mean to be offered up? Like I'm looking at it right now. You can see it, right? It has a literal and a figurative meaning. Where does it mean what you're talking about? Teach me. I'm good.
Oh my goodness, this dude here. All right, look. Let me pull this up. Offering up. A sham, right? Which is a sin offering or a trespass offering. It has several meanings.
Okay. So I'm not looking at a sham there, but let's go to a sham.
I got it pulled up right now. I'll share my screen.
Okay.
All right, let's look.
8:7.
Hold on, you want to share his screen real quick? So I'm gonna click over.
Yeah, okay. Who you clicking over for me or for him?
For you, brother.
For you.
All right. Can you see it?
Yeah, 100%.
It says, let's trespass offering, offering for sin, guiltless. It has several meanings, and I told you that sin was one of them, and you tried to say sin was not one of them.
Can you go down to where it actually, like the Hebrew part, where it says the sham got the Hebrew letters, and it says shams from 8:16, H8:16, guilt by implication, the fault. Also, yeah, just a little bit more, bro.
That's as far as it go, my brother.
Oh, come on.
I'm not playing with you.
Up. Down, not up.
Oh, you said down. My bad. I thought you meant up. My bad. A sham.
There you go. Where it says a trespass offering. Okay.
Also a sin offering, guiltless offering for sin trespass. But you said that sin offering had nothing to do with it earlier. That's what you said. And here,
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did, brother.
No, I didn't.
Well.
So,
Okay.
bro, this is real simple. Okay, you're citing all this stuff like about the Levites and all the law pertaining to. Show me where it actually happened to Jesus. Show me where he was made an offering.
Okay. Now, you say you believe in the words of the Messiah, right? You believe him to be a righteous man, right?
Don't worry about what I'm saying. Show me where he was carved up, where his blood was sprinkled anywhere, etc. Just show, and by a Levite at that, please. Anywhere in the New Testament, I'll wait.
You saying the trespass offering is a carving? Oh no, you said the burnt offering. I didn't say he was a burnt offering.
No,
I said he was a sin offering.
Bro, I just read you the trespass offering. You want me to go back to it again?
Read me Leviticus 7. That's what I pointed to. You talking about a burnt offering.
It's also in Leviticus 5. What I read you was from Leviticus 7, the last part. You want to go through it again?
Yeah, go to Leviticus 7 and start at verse 1.
Okay. We'll stop where it's applicable. How about that? Likewise, this is the law of the trespass offering. It is most holy. In the place where they kill the burnt offering shall they kill the trespass offering. First and foremost, was Jesus killed?
Yes, he was killed. What do you mean? He was crucified.
When he said, when he says, into your hands I commend my spirit, and then gave up the ghost, was that not the manner of his death on the cross? Yes or no?
That is a role that played one part in it.
Okay, so in Psalms 22, because we see that he's reciting Psalms 22 while he's on the cross. You recognize that the psalm specifies that the person reciting is asking to be spared from the sword. Yes?
Dude, it's my time to ask a question. I just answered your question. So look here, we're going to get to my question. Okay?
Oh, I'll let you get a couple in. Go ahead.
No, you ain't going to let me get a couple of nothing. I can get bowdy about it too now. I'm being fair. Now, Matthew 20.
Okay, we haven't finished that. We haven't finished Leviticus 7. Hold on.
Dude, I answered your question. You can answer my question.
And the blood thereof shall he sprinkle round about upon the altar. When did that happen with Jesus? Because you had me come here. You had me come here.
You just asked me a question about
you
how
had
he died.
Me come here. You had me come here.
Bro. Matthew 20 and verses 26. Now listen to this. He said,
Ooh,
even the Son
getting
of
all
Man
flex. Go ahead, bro.
But to minister and to give his life a ransom for many. So what do you take from that when he said he came to give his life a ransom for many? I
take that you're not reading from Isaiah 53, where I asked you, can you show me where a word for blood, atone, ransom, or redeem is anywhere there? So I'm asking you again, can you show me that anywhere in Isaiah? The best you could do was a Sham. So now we're going there, and I'm asking you, can you show me where any of this shit happened? Excuse my French, to Jesus. And no, you can't. It's that simple. When did he get cut up? When did his blood get sprinkled, bro? Show me this. When did the Levite do it, fam?
I'm gonna tell you, his blood got sprinkled. I'm
want to get loud?
Question. Hey, brother, you say you want to know when his blood got sprinkled?
When did the Levite do it, fam?
What now?
When did a Levite sprinkle his blood anywhere, fam?
No Levite sprinkled his blood. His blood got sprinkled by a Roman soldier. He hit him with the spear and it sprinkled his blood all over the ground.
Question. Got you. Was he alive or was he dead when he got stabbed with the spear?
He was dead.
So explain to me. Okay, now let's go to Leviticus 1:1. Yeah.
No, we're not finna keep going there.
No, we're gonna. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Because you keep lying. You keep lying on the scrolls. You keep lying on the scrolls. So let me. All right. Simple question. Simple question. Can a dead animal? Can a dead animal be brought?
I just answered your question, bro. Well, we can end this right now and put it in the Solar's hands, bro. I just answered your question. I ain't no punk now. Sit down and be quiet. You asked the question. I answered it.
Can a dead animal be brought as a sacrifice? Yes or no? I'm done. I'm done with that. I'm done with that.
All right. Come on, guys. Hold that question. Brother Orthodox Moor, ask your question, Brother Yahuchanan, and then after you answer his question, and then you could go back to that, Orthodox Moor. All right, so now go ahead, Yahuchanan.
All right. So according to Revelations 1:5, I'm gonna read this and let me tell you what you see this. Is this a lie or not? Listen, it said, and Yahuchanan, who is the faithful witness and the first begotten of the dead and the prince of the kings of the earth, unto him that loved us and washed us from our sins in his blood. So how did he, my question, how did he wash us in his sins? How did he wash us from our sins in his blood? Is that true? Or are you saying that's a false scripture?
I'm saying the blood is not literal. Just like he didn't literally drink his blood with his disciples. Just like he didn't literally tell you to eat his actual flesh or him his bread.
Okay.
Real simple. Now going back to my joint, yeah?
Yeah, go ahead.
We're going back to Leviticus 7, right? Because this is where you're having me go for the trespass offering.
Mm-hmm.
So verses 5 and 6. And the priest shall burn them upon the altar for an offering made by fire unto the Lord. It is a trespass offering. Every male among the priests shall eat thereof. It shall be eaten in the holy place. It is most holy. So my question to you is, when did the Levites burn Jesus as a burnt offering, then eat him? Where is that at?
No, they didn't burn him. No, they didn't burn him nor eat him.
So then I need clarity. Then how did he actually become a trespass offering if he did not go through any of the stages of a trespass offering? And obviously we don't see the priest cooking him up and eating him and burning him, etc. How is he a trespass offering?
Okay. Now, I have to answer your question with a question. Me and you both agree that Isaiah 53 is talking about Yahushua or Yeshua, right? That is correct, right? We both agree that, right?
I stated that at the outset, yes.
Okay, so we agree that. Now, in this verse, in verse 10, it said that he was offered up as an asham, a sin offering.
Right.
Now, when we go to Matthew and we hear the testimony of the Messiah, he said that he was offered up for many. He said he was a ransom for many. When I read you in Luke chapter 24, I believe, he said that forgiveness of sins, he said, and the repentance and remission of sins should be preached in his name among all the nations, right? Because of the work that he had did, because he had given his life unto the cross.
I'm waiting for an answer to the question anywhere in any of this.
Just answered your question.
So how is he a trespass offering if he didn't go through any of this? What type of trespass offering is he? Literal or figurative?
Well, this is what I'm saying. He didn't have to go.
Hear the question. Literal or figurative?
What are you saying? Literal, figurative about what?
Is he if he's a literal trespass offering, you would agree he would have to go through all these stages of Leviticus 7, 1 through 6 to where he's getting divvied up.
No, not necessarily, because those are foreshadows.
So again, so that's why I'm saying either it's a literal trespass offering where this happens, or it's a figurative one. Which would you say?
You said what now? Is it the what?
If it's literal, then we're seeing this whole bit where he's getting cooked up and divided. If it's figurative, right?
No,
it means like you're saying foreshadowing. Yes.
No, that's not necessarily true, because we're talking about a human being. He's not a figurative lamb. He's as the literal man. So no.
Jesus is a literal lamb. You said he's not a literal lamb. So he's a figurative lamb. He's a literal lamb.
His death was literal. Like, it actually happened.
No, I don't discount the fact that he died. I don't discount the fact that he died. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that in any way, shape, or form. So it comes down to this, right? Either you're saying that he literally ate his flesh, literally drank his own blood. He was literally, or it was all figurative.
What are you talking about? Leviticus 7 is talking about an actual animal. Now, when we talk about right. So this is here the point of clarity. So this is what I'm saying. Like, you're talking about actual literal stuff in Leviticus 7. I'm with you. So in the Gospels, are we talking about literal blood then? Are we talking about literal flesh as the bread? No, when he's giving, you talking about in communion, right? You talking about when he gave communion, he said, "This is my body for the New Testament." Those things are figurative. Drinking the wine like the blood of the new covenant and all that other stuff, that's figurative. But what I'm trying to tell you, is this: Isaiah 53 is basically telling you how he's going to be treated like a sin offering, like a lamb. He's not going to be actual, like, literally happen as an animal.
So it's figurative. So that's all I'm saying. It's figurative.
They're comparing his treatment and his death and his sacrifice to an animal.
Right. So it's figurative, right? You say you just don't want to say. Okay, so let me ask you like this. Let me ask you like this.
Actual treatment, all those things actually happen. His treatment, but far as the atonement is being compared to like a lamb sacrifice.
Okay,
Time.
so here's
Time. All right.
can we get like
Okay.
50 more minutes on this joint?
Nah, man, let's get the solar. Hell, I got enough problems dealing with him.
You're gonna be harder than me, bro. Go ahead.
Nah, I doubt that.
I appreciate the compliment.
That definitely is a compliment.
I appreciate the compliment.
All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna close this thing out. We're gonna hand this thing over to Brother Yahuchanan and Brother Yahuchanan. Whenever you're ready, you could hold on a second.
Yeah, let me stop sharing my screen.
Let me erase this real quick, family. And I set the timer for 5 minutes. Whenever you're ready, you could begin your closing, brother.
All right. Hey, first of all, I want to thank Soul of Mind, and I want to say shalom to all the judges, and I want to thank Orthodox Moor. If this be my last time in the playoffs, hey, I appreciate it. Thank you for the invite. I think I made my points very clear about Isaiah, and I showed how the Mashiach, in his own words, said that he was given for sin for many people to atone for their lives. Even his disciples have said these things, pointing to his death. In these last days, I must say, man, we need to have faith in the Most High, and faith in this story. The greatest story ever told. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I pray for you, Orthodox Moor, man, because you're making light of the death, burial, and resurrection of our Savior, man. If it was me, and it's a good thing that the Heavenly Father don't feel like we feel. If I gave up my son, my best, my innocent son, to atone for your sin, and you turn around and slap me in the face and water it down and reject it. If I was God, I would put my foot so far in your behind that my foot would come out your mouth, because this man offered up something so unique and something so rare, man. And for you to water it down and not deal honestly with the text. You understand what I'm saying? I showed in plenty of verses where it said that the blood had to make atonement. That blood cleanses, that blood purges. Here we're talking about a sacrifice. Elohim sacrificing his son, man. You understand what I'm saying? A man who did no wrong, man. He died for filthy sinners. And to water it down, bro, for you not to see that, man, I just keep you lifted up in prayer, bro. Honestly, I really do, man. Because I'm pretty sure I've showed my points and I've proven my case. And to those who don't know Yahushua HaMashiach as a savior and the Messiah, I just pray that you do, man. This is the real deal. He's the real deal. He's the truth. And he's the light. And with that, I yield my time.
All right. Shout out to Brother Yahuchanan for that very powerful closing. We're going to now hand this thing over to the Orthodox Moor. We're going to set the timer for 5 minutes. And whenever you're ready, brother, you could begin your closing.
Peace. So the title of this debate was not what did the New Testament have to say about Isaiah 53. Not what the Old Testament have to say about Isaiah 53, but what did Isaiah 53 point to? What did Isaiah 53 point to? And we're seeing, and I appreciate that the brother is concerned for my soul, right? Pray for me as much as you want to. We can build on the side, no worries, right? But I'm not twisting anything, bro. I'm not twisting a single thing. There's a basic principle in the scrolls. Basic, and it's called righteousness, fam. It's righteousness. You kept citing blood being needed for everything, right? But there's a figurative meaning to that blood, fam. And when I asked you, did it literally happen? You were like, nah, you didn't really want to. You didn't want to get into it because anybody with these brain cells, which you obviously have, brother, you are smart, can tell when I start asking, did this literally happen? Did he get chopped up? Did he get eaten? Did all this other stuff happen? Like the other sacrifice? You got to say, well, no. back there to tell me, well, this is the laws of how it's done. I'm like, okay, did it apply? Well, no, it didn't apply, because that would be gross. That would be grotesque. That would be asinine. You feel me? That would be repugnant on all kind of levels, right? And this is the basic concept that he's not going to deal with. Ezekiel 14:14. Though these three men, Noah, Daniel, and Job, were in it, being the world, they should deliver but their own souls by their righteousness, saith the Lord. One more time, because it's said in the same chapter, right? Though Noah, Daniel, and Job were in it, again, the world, as I live, saith the Lord, Lord God, they shall deliver neither son nor daughter. They shall but deliver their own souls by their righteousness. And again, so we're going into Ezekiel 18. You see God saying, what mean ye that ye use this proverb concerning the land of Israel, saying that the fathers have eaten sour grapes and the children's teeth are set on edge? As I live, saith the Lord, ye shall not have occasion anymore to use this proverb. Right? Behold, all souls are mine, and the soul of the Father, so also the soul of the Son is mine. The soul that sinneth, it shall die. Now, going back to Jeremiah 31, fam. This isn't my opinion. This is just me reading the scrolls, yeah? Me reading the scrolls. In those days, again, and it shall come to pass that as I have watched over them to pluck up and to break down and to throw down and to destroy and to afflict, so will I watch over them to build and to plant, saith the Lord. In those days they shall say no more, the fathers have eaten a sour grape, and the children's teeth are set on edge. But everyone shall die for his own iniquity. Every man that eateth the sour grape, his teeth shall be set on edge. Right? I don't see my brother understanding this concept to where you deal with your wickedness and you deal with your righteousness. And I make the same beseeching back to the brother. You know what I'm saying? You're worried about my soul. I'm worried about yours like the Most High is. You know what I'm saying? Because let me read what he says about the whole thing. Therefore, I will judge you, O house of Israel, everyone according to his ways, saith the Lord God. Repent and turn yourselves from all your transgressions, so iniquity shall not be your ruin. Cast away from you all your transgressions, whereby ye have transgressed, and make you a new heart and a new spirit. For why will ye die, O house of Israel? For I have no pleasure in the death of him that dieth, saith the Lord God. Wherefore turn yourselves and live. And again, when we get down to the brass tacks, right? When a wicked man turneth away from his wickedness that he hath committed, and doeth that which is lawful and right, he shall save his soul alive. Because he considereth and turneth away from all his transgressions that he hath committed, he shall surely live, and he shall not die. Right? And again, the crux of the matter is, what do the last two verses of Isaiah 53 say? Just to be clear for everybody. By his knowledge shall my righteous servant justify many. By his knowledge, but not by his blood, shall he bring them, cause them to turn to righteousness. And he entreats the transgressors, the apostates, the rebellious. He brought the new covenant. Again, Matthew 12:24, he's the mediator, or not Matthew, excuse me, Hebrews 12:24, he's the mediator of the new covenant. Hebrews 8 and 8, right? Breaks down what I just read in Jeremiah. It says the same thing verbatim. For finding fault with them, he saith, behold, the days come, and saith the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah.
Time. Shout out to the Orthodox Moor for that closing. It's time to get into the judges round. So, family, who should I interrogate first, family? Is it Orthodox Moor, or is it Brother Yahuchanan? Let me know now. 1 for Orthodox Moor, 2 for Brother Yahuchanan. Who should I interrogate first, family? Hold on 1 second.
And before you do anything, make sure you smash that like button, fam. Smash that like button.
All right, cool. I had to pull up the chat room. I'm sitting up here. I ain't even got my chat room pulled up. Okay. Now, let me see what it's looking like. Okay, we got some twos. Two. This looks like it's pretty balanced. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 twos. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's literally balanced. Now, let me see if somebody voted twice. Yeah, why Yahoo voted twice. Who else voted twice? Yeah, y'all guys is terrible. I think I see more ones than twos. So we can start out with the Orthodox Moor. What's going on, Orthodox Moor?
Peace.
All right. Let me get my sword. Let me get my sword.
Hey, let me eat my Wheaties and my Gatorade real quick. Smash the banana down real quick.
You're gonna need it, buddy. You're gonna need it, buddy.
Yeah, you got to go in because he just said that he kind of like lightweight said that was a harder question than you, man. So you got to go in on me.
Hey, man, I'm just gonna present his argument that I've written down. I understood both arguments clearly.
Okay.
Shout out to both debaters. We're gonna first start out with let's go to Leviticus 17 and 11. Leviticus 17 and 11. Leviticus 17 and 11 says, you there, brother?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. For the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I have given it to you upon the altar to make an atonement for your souls. For it is the blood that maketh an atonement for the soul.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, brother, in the context of Isaiah 53, I believe that was Isaiah 53. Isaiah. Yeah, Isaiah 53. Okay, Isaiah 53:10. It says, yeah, it pleased the Lord to bruise him. He has put him to grief when thou make his soul an offering for sin. Right? Because according to Leviticus chapter 17 and verse 11, it says, for the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I have given it unto you upon the altar to make an atonement for your souls. For it is the blood that maketh an atonement for the soul.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have to say about that, brother?
Yeah, my issue with that is still the same. Like you just read that his soul was made an offering for sin. Like the word for soul is nefesh. Like, let me go to it real quick if you want me to. But it's like a reading here that the word that you're reading about in Leviticus 17 is blood. It's dam, right? Which has a literal and figurative meaning, right? But nowhere in Isaiah 53 do you see blood being offered anywhere for anything. It says it was his soul. His soul. And so that's why I asked the brother, can you show me anywhere in those old Levitical verses where the soul is used as an actual offering on an altar like that?
Well, it says for the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I have given it unto you upon the altar to make an atonement for your souls. Mm-hmm. For it is the blood that maketh an atonement for the soul.
Right. So here I am in Isaiah 53:10, right? Yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him. He hath put, when he shall make his soul an offering for sin. Right. I'm with you. I'm with the whole argument that dude's making, right? It can sound logical, right? Except that this word here, nefesh, is the soul, right? And nowhere in Leviticus is this something that gets carved out and put on an altar or bled out anywhere. So that's why I asked the brother, is it a literal or a figurative offering? Now he kept emphasizing the blood. So I'm like, okay, are you saying it's literal? And he himself would never say it was literal. And then when I pressed him, he said, no, it's not. So I'm agreeing with him. It's not literal. We agree.
All right, let's go to Matthew 26, verses 27 and 28. Matthew chapter 26. Matthew 26.
Mm-hmm.
Matthew 26, verse 27 and 28 says,
and he took the cup and gave thanks and gave it to them, saying, drink ye all of it. 28. For this is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed for many for the remissions of sins.
Right.
So what about that would you like me to do with? Because that's my issue again. Like, so is he drinking literal blood there?
Right, I got you. Yeah, I got you on that. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 7, verses 1 through 3.
Okay. 7. 1 through 3. Likewise, this is the law of the trespass offering. It is most holy. In the place where they kill the burnt offering shall they kill the trespass offering, and the blood thereof shall he sprinkle round about upon the altar. And he shall offer all of it, and he shall offer of it all the fat thereof, the rump and the fat that covereth the inwards. Now, I didn't see none of that happen nowhere in the story of Jesus, anywhere in the Gospels. And particularly if you drop down a couple more verses to 5 and 6, where it says, and the priest shall burn them upon the altar for an offering made by fire unto the Lord. It is a trespass offering. And again, every male among the priests shall eat thereof. It shall be eaten in the holy place. It is most holy. I didn't see that nowhere. I'm missing that Sweeney Todd section of my book.
All right, let's go to Romans chapter 3, verse 25.
Romans 3, 25. Whom God hath set forth to be a propitiation through faith in his blood, to declare his righteousness for the remission of sins that are past through the forbearance of God. Again, right off the top, I'm going to highlight this for the family. To declare his righteousness for the remission of sins.
So when it says whom hath, hold on, I'll read it from you, John. So when it says that whom God has set forth to be a propitiation for the faith through faith in his blood, what does that mean to you?
I'm gonna read that one real quick because I got to see what propitiation is. I ain't gonna lie to you. That one's above my pay grade right now. Hold on, let me click it real quick. What you talking about? Propitiation. Concretely atoning victim, the lid of the ark, mercy seat, propitiation. Okay, I need to see this in Isaiah 53 because I'm not debating Romans, right? I'm debating Isaiah 53, right? Like, so the New Testament, and this is why I had a problem with the brother going to the New Testament all day, right?
What are you getting at on that? What does that mean to you?
Okay. Whom God has set forth to be a propitiation, right? Like, so this is where I was saying that he was entreated by God.
Through his faith in his blood. That's what we're talking about.
Cool. So this
God has set forth to be a propitiation through the faith in his blood.
Hold on, where is it? This one is it Romans 5. Oh, it's Romans 5 that breaks it down. But bottom line is the concept of this. Let me go back to it. faith in his blood, right? To declare his righteousness, right? Literal, figurative aspect of blood. That's why I kept asking the brother to break it down. Is it literal or is it figurative? And he brought it, when he got down to it, it got to the figurative aspect, right? And the figurative aspect of blood comes down to what does it mean by essence? It means either guilt or it means innocence, one of the two in the figurative concept, right? And so by his innocence, through faith in his innocence, right? So again, when we go back to Isaiah 53, it talks about the fact that that he did violence to none, and that he had no deceitful word in his mouth, right? But again, by his knowledge, he justified many, right? So again, in his essential action, the innocence of his actions, right? Like this is the whole thing, is the fact that he's an innocent, suffering servant. This is that he's not doing any sin to anybody. The sin's being hit, he's being hit with it, right? And so he's this example of like he talks about laying down your life, etc., all this kind of stuff, right? He talks about the resurrection, or excuse me, he talks about the resurrection of the just. And he talks about getting on the cross daily, taking up the cross daily, right? The taking up of the cross daily, again, the figurative concept of this has to deal with the literal aspect of declaring righteousness for the remission of sins. That's
so what would be the
point.
figurative aspect of Romans 3:25 when it says, "Whom God has set forth to be a propitiation through the faith in His blood"? What is the figurative explanation to that?
So the figurative explanation of that is mad simple, right? So again, he's entreated by God to like. So if I go back to, let me hit it real quick. So in Isaiah 53, I believe 6. Here we go. The Lord hath laid on him the iniquity of us all, right? That word for laid on him, excuse me, let me find it quick. Pagah, yeah, there we go. It's an entreatment. Again, he's making a deal with him, right? Cause to entreat. All right, impinge, cause to entreat. It means the same thing, right? And so that's when they're saying the propitiation, whatever. That's what I'm seeing there in Isaiah 53, that he entreated him. And again, look at what it's saying, right? That he entreated, that he laid on him the iniquity, right, of us all, right? And that word for iniquity, right? Perversity, etc., but it's i.e. moral evil, right? Moral evil, right? And so this is what I'm saying. It goes back to
about the blood, though. I get all that, but what explain what was the metaphor or the figurative explanation of why would they say blood figurative? I mean, explain how that can be broken down figuratively.
That the essence is in the blood, right? So what he talks about again, like for
so
instance,
they're saying blood because based off of what the essence.
You're right. So again, let me go to where he went to Leviticus. It was 17 where he brought that verse, because it has the word in there real quick. It was 17. What that he brought up? There it is. Blood's right there. Well, I guess 17:10. Yeah, same word. So again, and there's the literal, then a figurative. The figurative goes back to either you're talking about guilt or innocence. You feel what I'm saying? And so his innocence, right? In his innocence, faith doesn't mean like a blind understanding. Faith means like evidence and substance, right? You go to Romans 5 and 6, you can get this breakdown, right? It means evidence and substance, right? And so the evidence.
I mean, when you read the beginning, it says blood as that which we shed causes death.
Right. With it.
Why are you picking that last part of the verse as opposed to what it says in the beginning?
Because keep going, because of a man or an animal, right? By analogy to juice, right? So like the whole use of it there, right? That literal term has to do with like a literal sacrifice. So me and the brother already agreed that it wasn't a literal thing. So I got to go to the figurative. You understand what I'm saying? Okay.
So in the context of this question that I'm asking you,
so in the context of either it's grape juice or it's innocence.
Talking about what we was reading.
In the context of Romans 3:25, either figuratively it's grape juice, or figuratively it's his innocence. That's the point I'm trying to make.
So you're saying that the blood is making reference to grape juice?
No, I'm saying it can, like figuratively, it either can make reference to grape juice or innocence, and it makes a hell of a lot more sense to reference his innocence, particularly when you're talking about.
Or could it be being made literal? Blood as which was shed and causes death.
It could be, but the brother already agreed it's not.
No, I'm just saying what I'm asking you is that not what the brother said. I'm just asking you what do you think the verse is making reference to?
I can't see it being literal, because for it to be literal, I would need to see all the other stages of the sacrifice happening from Leviticus 7 again. Like so again, where the priests literally carve my dude up and eat him up, right? I need to see that part for me to understand it literally. If I don't see that happening, it's smacking of figurative. Just like again, the concept of is he drinking literal blood with his people or figurative blood? Like so, there it's obviously a grape juice wine type thing, right? But in this situation, in Romans 3:25, grape juice doesn't make a lot of sense in the figurative sense, right? So
did Jesus shed his blood for Israel?
No.
No. So when he was beaten, he wasn't shedding any blood?
I don't see that anywhere.
So you're saying literally when he was being beaten down, had the head of thorns, crown of thorns put on his head, that there was no blood shed?
So in Isaiah 53, the beating that it's referring to is the beating that the Jews give him, right? The ones that the scribes get, that the Sadducees and the Pharisees they give him, right? Where they smack him, spit on him, all that type of stuff, right? Because Isaiah 53 is being spoken about the Jews to the Jews.
Okay, speaking from that context, so you're saying there was no bloodshed?
Right, 100%.
No bloodshed from the time they was whooping his ass all the way up until the put on the cross. No blood was shed.
No, I'm not saying that. Hear what I'm saying. Specifically, Isaiah 53 is talking about, again, let me go to it, because it's talking about the people that went astray. And him being entreated to deal with their iniquities, right? All we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned everyone to his own way, and the Lord had laid on him the iniquity of us all. That's Israel, right? And so again, hold on, let me hit the scroll real quick because it'll break it down. Hold on, where was it at? Because in Matthew and Mark and John, you can see it to where there we go. They spat on it.
All right, so what would be the purpose of him going through that whole ordeal then? I mean, according to you.
Which ordeal are you talking about? The one with the Jews or
the whole beating and the dragging across?
So the purpose of that whole deal was to test him, right? So hold on.
So you're saying that he was being tested. He was being tested by getting a beat down?
100%. Let me go to it real quick. So here we go. And he made his grave with the wicked and with the rich in his death, because he had done no violence, neither was any deceit in his mouth, right? So in this, we're seeing all, like I just read to you where the sins, where he was entreated to make, he made a deal with God to deal with the sins of the people. It's like to have the sins. And again, the concept of them being put on him is not the fact that he's paying for their sins. The word that they use literally is to lift and carry, and another one is the travail of his soul. Travail means like an extremely harsh effort that's used here in the Hebrew, like a woman giving birth. She's pushing with everything she has, right? So the effort that he's giving is everything he has. This is the price of him pouring out his soul to death, right? So he's had everybody. It says in the scrolls, everybody has to get tempted, right? That's why I said earlier that Abraham got tempted first before he dealt with his son, right? So Jesus is getting tempted too as well. While he's on the cross, they're saying, if you be the Son of God, why don't you come down? This, that, and the third. Why don't you do this? Why can't you save yourself? If you be the Son of God, they're taunting him and mocking him the whole time, right? And when you understand the scrolls, when Jesus comes back the second time, when his feet hit the ground, stuff gets destroyed and split into all that kind of stuff, right? They're trying to taunt him to do stuff before his time, like the demons that say, "Oh, have you come to take us before our time?" They're trying to get him to do things off of his timing, right? So at the height of his temptation, right, of he's the individual who has the ability, who has angels at his beckoning, this, that, and the third to go handle whatever kind of business, right? He's getting mocked to come down off the cross and not do what he's being sent to do, right? At the height of all of that, he says, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." Because if he does, that's the important part.
You said
that's the important part.
They wanted him to come off the cross to stop what he came to do, which is what?
To say that part right there. Because if he doesn't say,
so he was put on a cross to say what?
Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Because if he doesn't forgive them at that juncture, right? If at the height of all of that, right? If he decides to come down off the cross, or to like Satan, for instance, right? The whole time Satan is tempting him in the desert, right? 40 days with it, right? They're saying, why don't you show your power this way? Why don't you show your power that way? He's like, I'm not, you don't tempt God. You don't tempt God. So the whole time he's there, again, he's reciting Psalm 22, right? Which was the song where it's breaking down the fact that his bones are all out of joint. He's watching the bulls of Bashan encircle him, right? So he's having a situation to where like he's seeing the evil people around him taunting him, right? And at that juncture, he can say all the stuff that Satan was telling him. Like, you have thousands of angels that will come at your attendance if you call them. If you jump off the cliff, they'll come catch you, type stuff, right? So he's of a full knowing. Again, he says, not my will be done, but thine. He's of a full understanding of what he's about to go through. That he's about to catch the beat down, right? The whole point is, can he catch that beat down, right? Can he lay down his life for his fellow man, right? As an example of, check this out. This is how you stay righteous, right? At the end of it, his innocence, right? The faith in his innocence, the substance and understanding of his innocence is the concept of forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. At the height of all of it, he stays humble. It pleased the Lord to bruise him. That word for bruise in Hebrew is to make humble. He stayed humble throughout the height of all of that and did not profane what he came to do. Because again, he said, not my will be done, but thine.
Let's go to Hebrews chapter 9, verse 22.
9. Okay. 22.
Yeah.
And almost
all things.
no, go ahead. And almost all things are by the law purged with blood, and without shedding of blood is no remission.
Explain that, brother.
But right off the top, it says, and almost all things are by the law purged with blood, and without shedding of blood is there no remission. Right. However, check this out, though. Right. So let's go back one chapter, because it's talking about the law. Right. You go back one chapter, it's talking about the law being changed. That's the whole point of this thing. Hold on, quick. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. That might be chapter 7. Hold on, real quick. Either or, it's hold on. Bottom line is the law is talking about here is it's this whole bit of Hebrews, all of Hebrews is talking about the new covenant coming. Right? So it's not talking about the Mosaic law. It's talking about the new covenant. And the new covenant we were talking about in Jeremiah 31 is talking about the concept of everybody having to deal with their own sin themselves. Just like we went over and echoed the same thing from Ezekiel 18. That's what it's saying here in Hebrews 8:9, right? Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith the Lord. For this is the covenant that I will make with them, the house of Israel, in those days, etc. I will put my law in their minds and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people. And they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying it. This is directly verbatim out of Jeremiah 31. Directly verbatim, right? Saying, know the Lord, for all shall know me, for the least to the greatest. For I will be merciful to their unrighteousness. For I will be merciful to their unrighteousness. Right? Nothing about blood being mentioned. And their sins and their iniquities will I remember no more.
All right, thanks a lot, brother. We're gonna move forward too. Brother Yahuchanan.
Hey, shalom.
Shalom.
You know, you're a toothache, man. Hey, man. You a toothache, Solar.
All right, I try not to be, just answer the questions, and we can move right along very easily.
I hear you, bro.
All right, so was there any time in Isaiah chapter 53 where blood, atone, redeem, or ransom was mentioned?
Let me see. You said, was there any time like blood or ransom was mentioned?
Blood, atonement, blood, atonement, redeem, or ransom. Was there ever a time in Isaiah 53 that those words was mentioned?
All right. Let's see. 53. Damn it. Hold on, so I ain't trying to shuckle buck on you. Hold on, I'm just trying to pull up the scripture real quick. Get the whole King James. Isaiah 53. Okay, so let's look. So he shall transgression, intercession, death, because he poured out his soul. Intercession, transgression, death, by my portion. Okay. Not at this time. I don't see none of those words being mentioned.
Okay, so based off of that logic, what is the argument you're trying to make? What is Isaiah 53 talking about then?
Well, it's talking about a sacrifice. You understand what I'm saying? Like he's saying a ransom sacrifice. So that's why that's my argument. He's being sacrificed for other people, as you can see in Isaiah 53 and 10. He's being made a sin offering.
All right, so okay, let's go to Isaiah 53 and 12.
Okay.
Can you read that for me, brother?
Isaiah 53 and 12. Let's see what it says. It says, therefore will I divide him a portion with the great, and he shall divide the spoil with the strong, because he hath poured out his soul unto death, and he was numbered with the transgressors, and he bare the sin of many and made intercession for the transgressors.
All right, so did he pour out his blood, or or did he pour out his soul?
Oh, okay. What do you mean?
That's
Yeah,
the
he poured out.
question.
He poured out both. He poured out his soul and his blood.
Can you show me where he poured out his blood? Because I read the part where he poured out his soul.
Okay, so we can go to Matthew.
In Isaiah 53, there's nothing making any reference to pouring out his blood.
No, there's no word blood there in Isaiah 53, but if you go to Isaiah,
it's a word for soul, 50, right?
Say what now?
There's a word for soul though there.
For soul, that is true. But what I'm saying is, okay, go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
Oh no, you was breaking up a little bit. That's what I'm saying. You was Borging.
Go ahead, Solar. My bad. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you was Borging. Can you hear me? Orthodox Moor.
I was saying if you go to where it says
hold on a
sin offering, if you look at the law, what the sin offering requires.
Orthodox Moor, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Oh shit, it is me, Morgan.
Okay, all right. I think you're a little more clear now. Go ahead.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now, bro.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh.
Go ahead, Yahuchanan.
Oh no, what I was saying is if you look at Isaiah 53 and 10, where it's talking about a sin offering, that's where the blood is required. Blood is required for a sin offering.
All right, so a sin offering. So, what is a sin offering?
It's an offering that is basically you commit a crime against the Most High, and you must offer up a bull or a goat, and it must be atoned, it must be killed, according to Leviticus chapter 7.
So how are you equating that with what happened to Christ?
Because Christ shed his blood. Even he even said he's shedding his blood for the remission of sins when he did his at the supper, which I read in Matthew, where he said that this is his blood and this is for the atonement of his sins. And then I also read where many of his disciples said that his blood was shed for the remission of sins. Even Christ in his own words, when I read you in Revelation chapter 1, verse 5, where Christ was speaking, said that he shed his blood for many for forgiveness of sins.
Okay, so when you read the verse with the bread and the wine offering, what was the purpose of that?
That was to usher in the new covenant.
Was that figurative or was that literal?
The wine was figurative and the bread was figurative.
Okay, so when did that happen literally?
When he died, when they beat him up.
So they ate and drunk his blood?
No, they didn't eat and drunk his blood. That's
what I'm asking you, because I'm saying,
yeah,
like,
no, they never literally ate his blood. I mean, drunk his
so
blood.
how are you equating the sacrifice with what, or is it going to be outside the stipulations of what the customs of the Israelites were? Why is that outside of the customs of how they're supposed to do sacrifices? That's the question.
Okay, so this is the thing. In Hebrew, the word blood means life. So when it's saying he shed his blood, they took his life. Do you understand what I'm saying?
But you're saying, I mean, I could die tomorrow. Am I shedding my blood for somebody?
No, I mean, you're not shedding your blood for nobody, but still, your blood is gone.
Right, so what I'm saying, that according to the law, it was under these certain ritualistic practices or these certain customs that they had, certain ceremonies that they did to let the people know that this is an offering. So what was the stipulations of one, a human sacrifice, if you could show me that, and two, how is it in accordance with how they sacrifice any other thing?
The Hebrews never sacrificed a human being, so there was no criteria. It was the Most High who was offering him up. But to see a human sacrifice, you can go to Zephaniah chapter 1, 7 through 13, when the Most High offered up a human sacrifice.
Okay, can you read it for me?
Okay, yeah. Let me get to there. All right, Zephaniah chapter 1, verses 7 through 13. It says this. Okay. It says, hold thy peace in the presence of Yahuwah thy Elohim, for the day of Yahuwah is at hand. For Yahuwah hath prepared a sacrifice. He hath bid his guest. And he shall come to pass in the day of Yahuwah's sacrifice that I will punish the prince and the king's children, and all such are clothed with strange apparel. In the same day also will I punish all those who leap on the threshold, which fill their master's house with violence or in deceit. And it shall come to pass in that day, saith Yahuwah, that there shall be noise of cry from the fish gate, and howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hills. Howl, ye inhabitants of Maktash, for all the merchant people are cut down, and they are bare silver and cut off. And that word cut off also means put to death. And it shall come to pass at that time that I will search Jerusalem with candles and punish the men that are settled on their leads, that say in their hearts, the Lord will not do good, neither.
So people that are being punished are being sacrificed?
Yes, this is the Most High sacrifice. If you listen to what he's saying, yes.
All right, so what did Jesus do to be sacrificed?
It wasn't that he was sacrificed for his doing. According to Isaiah, he was sacrificed for the sins of Israel, of his people.
So that would be similar to the sacrificing of the bull and the lamb, and because
it's symbolic of it.
That's why it says without blemish, and
yes,
it's something about the innocence of the animal that will make it a sacrifice, right?
Correct.
All right, so we see that it was done figuratively with them eating the bread and the wine. So I'm waiting for you to show me that this happened literally.
What are you talking about? Like literally drinking blood and literal eating the body?
Yeah, did they not do that with the lamb? They sprinkled it and did all type of ritualistic things with it.
Yeah, they did that with the animal, but you cannot eat human beings. I can't show you that because that's just
So
cannibalism.
how would he literally be a ransom sacrifice then?
Okay, because first of all, he's a high priest, and in his death, it atoned for us. He was literally punished for something he didn't do. His punishment was put on us according to Isaiah. So that's how, according to the scriptures, and according to his own testimony. For he said that he is also came to die for sins of other people.
So what type of sacrifice was it?
I mean, honestly, it was a godly sacrifice.
So it wasn't any type of sacrifice that is in accordance with the law?
When you say in accordance with the law, it wasn't man who handed him over to be sacrificed. I mean, even according to Isaiah, it was God who had handed him over for a sin offering or a sacrifice.
So where does it say that in Isaiah?
Okay, hold on, let's go. Isaiah 53. Okay, let's see. So he was smitten by God, right? Oh, okay. Now it says that let's see, let's go to 10. Okay, so look, I'm gonna read 8 and go down. All right, I'm at Isaiah 53 and 8. He was taken from prison and from judgment, and who shall declare his generation? For he was cut off, meaning put to death, out of the land of the living. For the transgressions of my people was he stricken, and he made his grave with the wicked and with the rich in his death, because he had done no violence, neither was any deceit in his mouth. Yet it pleased Yahuwah to bruise him. He hath put him to grief. Talking about Yahuwah put him to grief. When thou shalt make his soul, Yahuwah is making his soul an offering for sin. He shall see his seed and shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of Yahuwah shall prosper in his hand. So we see Yahuwah offering them up as a sacrifice.
All right, brother, let's go to Isaiah 53, chapter 12.
You mean Isaiah 53 and 12?
Yeah, Isaiah 53, chapter 12. I mean, Isaiah 53, 12, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Therefore will I divide him a portion with the great, and he shall divide the spoil with the strong, because he hath poured out his soul unto death, and he has numbered with the transgressions, and bare the sin of many, and made intercession for the transgressors.
So what do you think that means, brother?
What it's saying is that his death allowed reconciliation for mankind to come back into right relationship with the Most High. And now, since he's done these things, since he was obedient, now he gets a reward. And he also is an intercessor between us and God. He now complete our case on our behalf, on his behalf for us to his Father.
All right, so once again, where is it making any mention that his blood was shed?
I keep telling you, Isaiah 53 and 10, a sin offering. He was a sin offering for other people, not for his sins, but for the sins of other people.
All right, so what are the stipulations of a sin offering?
Okay, let me read. Can I read Isaiah 50? Leviticus 7. Blood sacrifice, that the blood might be on the altar.
Go ahead. Leviticus chapter 7, verse what?
Leviticus 7. Let me see. Leviticus 7, and what did I read? 1 through something. Hold on, let me see. All right, listen. It says, damn. All right, Leviticus 7. Where you at? All right, listen. Leviticus 7, verse 1. Likewise, this is the law of the trespass offering or sin offering. It is most holy. In the place where they kill the burnt offering, they shall kill the trespass offering. And in its blood he shall sprinkle all around the altar, on the altar, and he shall offer from it all the fat of the trail, the fat of the covers, the entrails, the kidneys, the fat that is on them, by the flanks, the flattery lobe attached to the liver above the kidney, he shall remove, and the priest shall burn them on.
We can stop right there. Did any of this occur with Jesus Christ?
No, they didn't burn him, but he got literally beaten.
But it doesn't say anything about beating. So how is that a sin offering when it doesn't meet the sin offering requirements?
Because he is a human being. That's what I'm saying. This is what I'm trying to tell you.
You said it was a sin offering.
He is a sin offering. But what I'm saying is,
so you gave me wait. You said it was a sin offering. I said, what is a sin offering? You go and read this. So why would you read this if it was some type of different sin offering?
Because it's okay. What I'm trying to point to you is that the blood is required in the sin offering. That's why I'm pointing to you.
But it's certain stipulations that makes it a sin offering, though. Because if we're not going by this, that means it's not a sin offering. Right or wrong? I mean, you can't say like, well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I could cut myself in, you know what I'm saying? And okay, is that a sin offering? No. Why? Because no, let's say for example, it says in the place where they killed the burnt offering, there were
these things. Okay, can we go to Hebrews 10:1?
I'm trying to see what animal is this making reference to. Any animal for Leviticus chapter 7 verses what animal are they making reference to?
Lambs and goats.
Okay, so if I take a lamb and I just cut it and don't do any of these things, would that be a sin offering?
Okay, if you allow me to go to Hebrews 10:1,
wait.
And I'll show you a
question. If I took a lamb, let's pay this. If I took a lamb and put it on a cross and had a Roman soldier stab it in the gut, would that be a sin offering?
Would that be a sin offering if you took a lamb? Describe this lamb to me.
Just any lamb, a lamb without blemish. If I took a lamb, put a crown of thorns on his head and beat the hell out of him and put it on a cross and then had a Roman soldier stab it in the side, would that be a sin offering?
Would that be a sin offering? Talking about you take a lamb, put it on a cross, you beat the hell out of it, stab it up.
Yeah.
I would say no.
So how is that pertaining to Jesus then? Because Jesus did the same thing.
I'm trying to take you to Hebrews 10:1, but you won't let me for it could answer your question.
All right. I mean, no, I'm just, you could go to Hebrews chapter 10 verse 1 now, but I'm just saying like it don't make sense that, well, just because it's Jesus, it doesn't have to go with the requirements of the sin offering that you yourself pointed out that this is the requirements for a sin offering.
Right, because these things are shadows. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They're pointing to something. These are shadows.
You can go to Hebrews if you want to.
Hebrews 10:1. For the law, having a shadow of good things to come, and not the very image of the things can never, with those sacrifices which they offered year by year continually to make comers thereunto perfect. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. These things were shadows. They were pointing to some. These sacrifices was pointing to Christ. These sacrifices were pointing to the same person that Isaiah 53:10 or the whole chapter were pointing to.
But I don't think that he disagreed with the sacrifice. He's just saying that it's not a literal one.
It's not a literal sacrifice.
Yeah, that's what his whole position it was.
His whole position was supposed to be that it was righteousness. If you read the title, he said that it was pointing to righteousness. He didn't say nothing about sacrifice, whatever. His position was
but
that
within the context of y'all argument, I heard him countless of times saying that the sacrifice was not a literal one. That's what he said.
Yeah, but what's the thing? Isaiah 53 points to a teacher of righteousness or a ransom sacrifice. So he's never gotten down about this. He's never showed no position on that. All he's saying is he's against the sacrifice, which Isaiah 53 is talking about a sacrifice.
Well, yeah, that's the real part of disagreement. Am I right? Because I believe you believe that he was a teacher of righteousness, right?
I believe he was a teacher. He was a righteous sacrifice. Yeah, I do believe he was a teacher of righteousness who sacrifices his life.
All right, so the real contention was he's saying that he was only a teacher of righteousness. You're saying that he was a teacher of righteousness and ransom sacrifice.
Yeah.
So the contention was the sacrifice part, brother.
But this is what I'm saying. When I take you to Matthew, did he not say that he became a ransom for he became a ransom for many men? That's what he said in Matthew.
All right, brother.
And I read that.
Right. But what I'm saying is that we're trying to get to the part where this ceremony was actually practiced, and you're not really showing me.
I'm saying if you look at how he was beaten, okay, by the priest and by the Roman guards.
So at what point was the sacrifice done, brother?
When they put him on the cross and he died.
All right, so it's not in concordance with anything that was being suggested according to the law pertaining to how they sacrifice everything else.
You got to understand, the law is pointing to what's going to happen to a human being.
That's a no, okay? Brother. Was it in accordance with anything making reference to how they sacrifice every other animal according to the law?
I mean, not literally word for word. No, it's not. No, they didn't cut him up and chop him up and all that other stuff.
So if it wasn't literal, what was it?
What you mean?
He said not literally. That's what you said.
He wasn't. Listen, he wasn't literally chopped up like a lamb.
So if it wasn't literal, then what was it?
But that's what I'm saying. He was literally sacrificed. He was literally taken out for somebody else's sin. And that's what the lambs were. The goats and the lambs.
But it doesn't fit the requirements of how they sacrifice things, brother. And then you said not literally. So they literally broke up the bread. They literally broke up the bread and they literally drunk of Christ, right?
But that's not the debate. It's not whether it's all this. The debate is he's a ransom sacrifice.
But I'm just saying, no, brother. What I'm asking you is, they literally did the representation of Christ using the bread and the wine that went in accordance to how they did things in the law. They broke up the bread, they ate the bread, they drank the wine. But when it came to Christ's actual body, they did not do those things.
That's correct.
Okay, so what I'm asking you is, can you show me how you're trying to equate Leviticus with this criteria or these stipulations of sacrifice to what happened to Christ?
Okay, because Isaiah 53 says that he is an asham offering, pointing to Christ. So when Christ talks, he's talking about being sacrificed or given for the sins of others. So that's how I make those correlations.
Okay, thanks a lot, brother. We're going to now go into the voting, man. This should be interesting. We're going to start out with the peer vote. You already know what it is. The number is 215-954-9091. Somebody could put it in the chat room for me. I would greatly appreciate that. One of my moderators or one of the judges, whoever, throw that up in the chat for your brother. The number is 215-954-9091. Who do you think had the better argument? Is it Orthodox Moor? Or is it Brother Yahuchanan? Shout out to both debaters. Very interesting debate. Very interesting dynamic. Shout out to School of Understanding. Putting that number in the chat room for his brother. Who do you think had a better argument? Is it Orthodox Moor or is it Brother Yahuchanan? Peace, peace, claim. Who you vote for, brother?
That's we'll give it to you young lion.
All right, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. One for Yahuchanan. This is the peer vote family. All right. Just to let you know, just to let you know, just to let you know before you go, go, go. We're going to have a doubleheader tomorrow. I believe we're starting at around 3 o'clock. Hold on, let me get that thing pulled up real quick. Boom, boom, bit. All right. Peace, 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 brother Mikael. Who you vote for, brother?
Shalom, fellas. I gotta say it was a good debate. Orthodox Moor held his own. Yahuchanan did pretty good. But I think the fact that he knew how to combine the symbolism with the literalism, that I gotta give it to Yahuchanan, young lion. Shalom.
All right. So Yahuchanan has 2 votes to none thus far. We're gonna go with brother Yeshar. Brother Yeshar is in the building. Peace, family. Who you vote for?
Way to start it off, baby. Way to start it off. Good debate, fellas. Way I see it, they both were shuckle-bucking when you got to them. But it was a good, strong debate coming from my young lion, Yahuchanan. So I'm going to have to go with Yahuchanan.
All right. So we got 3 votes for brother Yahuchanan, and 0 for Orthodox Moor. Just to let you guys know, Mikael will be debating tomorrow. He will be going up against G-Con, and that will be 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What laws should Christians keep according to the Bible? That will be the second half of our doubleheader. Earlier, we're going to have Outside the Cube. He's going to be debating solving the race problem. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the topic of that debate is, will voting lead to black progress? Uh-oh. That should be very interesting right there, family. So with that being said, let's go to Obadiah. Obadiah. Peace, family. Who you vote for?
Peace, shalom. Great debate. I would say Yahuchanan got this one. Good job.
All right, thanks a lot, brother.
Yes, sir.
4 votes for brother Yahuchanan in the peer vote. And 0 for Orthodox Moor. Yeah, man. I don't know. Yahuchanan's looking like he's going to win that peer vote, man. Peace. Yamra Yahu. Who you vote for, brother?
My vote is for the Moor, man. The Moor proved this part, man. Period. Shit.
All right. Thanks a lot, brother. So we got 1 vote for Orthodox Moor and 4 votes for brother Yahuchanan, the young lion. All right. We got some interviews going on next week as well. We want to bring in brother Sal, not Sal Showtime, We're going to bring out a brother name. He goes by the name of Sal. He's a Christian. Hold on a second. Let's get to this next vote. The minister. Minister Howard's in the building. What's going on, family? Who you vote for?
Hey, what's good, man? My vote going for Yahuchanan.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 5 votes for Brother Yahuchanan. 1 for Orthodox Moor. Yeah, as I was saying, we're going to have Brother Sal. He's going to be coming in for an interview and the Release the Hound session, obviously. We got to break him into Solar Vision Debate League. And then we got Brother Domo. Brother Sal will be coming on this Wednesday. This coming Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you're in the building for that. Peace, peace, peace. Out the blue, out the blue. Who you vote for, brother?
Yeah, I'm taking Orthodox Moor, man, all day. That's crazy. He could have went to First Samuel too.
All right. All right. Thanks a lot, brother, for your vote, brother. All right. So thus far we have 2 votes from the peers for Orthodox Moor, and we have 2, 4, 5 for the young lion, Brother Yahuchanan. All right, let me check out to see if there's any text votes. Sister Divine, if you're going to say all that, you might as well. You're a member of the debate league. You got to give your vote. Peace, peace. Chris Harris, who you vote for, brother?
Hey man, I'm going with Orthodox Moor on this one. He taught me something today. All praises. Good job, Orthodox.
All right. So we got 3 votes for Orthodox Moor, 5 for.
Gratitude, brother, man. Gratitude. Shalom, Mark. Shalom.
Yahuchanan. We got some text votes in. We got DJ Black Charmed. He votes for Brother Yahuchanan. And G-Con votes for Brother Yahuchanan. Rob in Nazareth.
Shout out to you, family. My vote goes to the young lion.
All right. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 votes for Brother Yahuchanan, and we got 3 for the Orthodox Moor. All right. Let's see if any more votes. Outside the queue, votes for Orthodox Moor.
Gratitude, Q. Gratitude.
So we'll get this voting in another minute or so before we move on. We got 4 for Orthodox Moor. We have 8 for Brother Yahuchanan. All right. So once again, we got a doubleheader coming out tomorrow. Mikhail, G-Con, and Outside the Cube, and Brother Abdul solving a race problem. All right. This Monday, we're going to have Rob Rack going up against Yahra ben Nazareth. Who is Jesus' daddy? According to the flesh, as in Romans chapter 1 and 3. So that should be a very interesting debate, family. Tuesday, we're going to have Suave Boss going up against Out the Blue. Are the letters of Aristeas valid, or the validity of the letters of Aristeas? That will be this Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you're in the building for that. This Wednesday, we're going to have Anonymous Hebrew going up against Claim Your Inheritance. And with that being said, we got Anonymous Hebrew calling in right now. Peace, Anonymous Hebrew. Who you vote for, brother?
Peace, brother. Yo, way to start the playoffs off correct, man. Congratulations to both the debaters, man. Shucklebuck round. Got the both of them. So with that, I got to get ahead to the brother Young Lion, Yahuchanan. Man, that's been against Orthodox Moor, man. That was the best debate. Peace to both of them.
All right. So we got 9 votes for Brother Yahuchanan and for the Orthodox Moor. With that being said, we was on Wednesday. We got Claim Your Inheritance versus Anonymous Hebrew. Does the Bible show that Jesus had a physical wife and children? That will be this Wednesday. That will be this Wednesday. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Thursday, we're going to have the Bishop, Eliyahu, going up against Minister Howe. Is the Sabbath done away with? That will be this Wednesday, and that will cap off the first round of debating here on the Solar Bishop Debate League. All right. So with that being said, we're going to take another call from the sister. You got to call back, Sister Divina. Peace, peace, peace. Who is this calling?
Hey, this is Aboriginal Power. The nice today, but I'm gonna give it to the Orthodox Moor.
You got to call in on the people's vote, brother.
Oh, how you do that?
Sister Divina. Sister Divina. Who you vote for?
All the best to you. Both debaters were great. I think I'm gonna have to give my vote to Orthodox Moor. I think he was more thorough on his answers. Orthodox Moor.
All right, thanks a lot, sister.
Thank you.
All right. So with that being said, we can now keep this thing rolling right along to the people's vote. People's vote is now in effect. Vote now or forever hold your speech. This is the Solar Vision Debate League, man. People, who you think had a better argument? Is it the Orthodox Moor or is it Brother Yahuchanan? Is it the Moorish assassin or is it the young lion? Let's get it in, family. Who had the better argument? Peace, 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 peace. State your name. Who you vote for?
Yo, this is Terry Smoot Jr. I gotta go give this to the Orthodox Moor. I'm still trying to find out where Jesus got cut up and sacrificed and ate. Peace, Solar.
Peace to you, brother. All right, North Kakalaki. State your name. Who you vote for?
The Orthodox Moor, brother. My name is Eddie Thomas. I'm calling from North Carolina, man. My vote for the Orthodox Moor.
All right, thanks a lot, brother. All right, peace, 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 family. Who you vote for, brother?
It's Jojo, going for Orthodox Moor.
All right, thanks a lot, family. So you never know, man. You never know. Christopher. You calling back for what? All right. So we okay. Peace, family. Peace, family. Yeah, who can that? Okay, thanks a lot, sister. All right, so we got 3 votes for the Orthodox Moorish assassin. Cop back and blasting anybody who be asking. Yeah, I know I'm not a rapper, so I just gotta, fall back. Peace, family. Peace, family.
Hey, this Keith Moore. I'm voting for the Orthodox Moor.
All right. Thanks a lot. Peace, peace, peace. State your name. Who you vote for?
Yahuchanan.
That was the same number and the same voice from before, man. Stop playing with me. Yo.
Yahuchanan.
All right. So far we have 4 votes for the Orthodox Moor and 1 for Yahuchanan. Louisiana. State your name. Who you vote for?
Orthodox Moor.
All right. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Georgia. Peace family. Who you vote for?
Hey, I just wanted to make sure my vote got approved, boss. I had some interference on the line, that's all.
Yeah, we got you, brother.
Thank you.
All right. So we got 2, 4, 5 for the Orthodox Moor and 1 for Yahuchanan. Shout out to the family. Peace. State your name. Who you vote for?
Yeah, Vinny D, Yahuchanan.
All right. California love.
Hey, Sola, I do believe the sister from Louisiana made a 5 for me.
All right. You were saying something, Orthodox?
Yeah, I do believe that the sister from Louisiana made a
Can't hear
5. I do believe the sister from Indiana or
Maybe I hit
Louisiana.
the volume there. Maybe that's me. Louisiana.
Hi, sexy Orthodox Moor.
All right. Thanks a lot. I'm sexy. All right. I'm gonna remember that number. I don't play no games. Let me lock you in. You feel me? Cause Solar Mind do not play no games. Why is you calling Divine? What's up, Divine? What's good?
Is my phone recorded? I keep hearing it. You sound like saying for me to call in.
No. We got you on the Pierce vote.
Oh, okay, cool. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
She crazy. All right. So we got 2, 4, 6. 6 votes for the Orthodox Moor. We got 2 for Brother Yahuchanan. Peace, family. State your name and who you vote for.
Young Lion.
All right. So, family. Peace. State your name, who you vote for.
Peace, Ace. I will vote for Orthodox Moor.
All right. Peace, family. State your name, who you vote for.
I'm Elusive One, and I'm voting for the Orthodox Moor.
All right. Thanks a lot, sister.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Peace. State your name, who you vote for.
Leader for Christ.
All right. Yeah, your voice is not what I thought it was going to be. You say what? Go ahead. What you say again? Who you vote for?
Yahuchanan.
All right, I got you, sister. Yeah, so we got 8 votes for the Orthodox Moor, and we got 4 votes for Yahuchanan. We're going to get this thing another minute or two before we move on to the judges' votes. Family, look like it's going to be all knotted up, man. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 4, 2, 4, 5. They are right now literally tied. They are literally tied right now when it comes to the voting points and the power points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They both got 14 voting points, and they both have 1 power point as of right now. So, barring a miracle in the Meadowlands, Orthodox is going to win this people's vote. It can happen. It can happen, family. Because anything's possible here on Solar Vision Debate League. We're going to be rocking out all week. We're going to set some NIT. That means not in tournament, not national invitational tournament. I learned that from World of Hebrew. All right. Not in tournament NIT matchups. We're going to set up for not next week because we're going to be rocking out with the playoffs all next week, but the week after next, because we got to give the playoffs, we got to give the players or the debaters at least a week to get their information together because it's going to be tight like what you just seen here. You see debating at its finest. You know what I mean? And this is how we do things here on Solar Vision Debate League. Peace, 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 peace. Who you vote for, brother?
Yahuchanan. This hurricane.
Okay, no doubt. Got your sister. We got 2, 4, 5, 2, 4, 6, 8. It's still pretty possible. Give it about another minute before we move on to the judges' votes, the dreaded judges' votes. Oh, yeah. Yes, the judges have power here on Solar Vision Debate League. We can change the outcome of all debates. We are the Illuminati of Solar Vision Debate League, and School of Understanding is the leader. Y'all think he sit back and quiet? Those be those Illuminati motherfuckers. I'm sorry. Those Illuminati people. No cursing here on Solar Vision Debate League. Carolyn from Maryland. What's going on? Peace, family. Who you vote for?
This is Roy. I vote for Yahuchanan.
All right, all right, all right. So, family. I actually forgot what I was saying, but oh yeah, we are the Illuminati, and we control the outcome of all votes. Peace, family. State your name. Who you vote for?
Yeah, I vote for Yahuchanan.
All right, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, this is pretty close now. Thanks a lot, brother. So, with that being said, family, we're going to go now to the judges' votes. Okay, family, unmute your mics. Unmute your mics.
Yo.
All right, so thus far we have Orthodox Moor winning the people's vote, and Brother Yahuchanan winning the peers' vote. Judges, let us know who you vote for and why.
Yo. This is Jerry James, man. I just want to congratulate both of the brothers on an excellent season. My vote goes to Orthodox Moor. He held his premise. He he combated a lot of what young Yahuchanan had to say. Stood his ground, was very informative, gave some good information, some good leeway. So that's why he won my vote. Congratulations, man.
No
Gratitude, brother.
doubt, no
Gratitude.
doubt, no doubt. School of Understanding.
Shalom. Can I be heard?
Yes, sir.
All right. This was a great debate to start the playoffs. Both brothers brought it. Peace to both brothers. I think I had it back and forth in the middle of the debate. I had Orthodox slightly ahead in the beginning based on he set the foundation for the debate and what he was going to lay down clearly. And then in the head-to-head round, I feel Orthodox boxed Yahuchanan in more to his position as far as Leviticus 7 and the servant in Isaiah 53 justifying many by his knowledge. And so with that, I give it to Orthodox Moor.
Okay. So this debate is already decided. We have Orthodox Moor for the win. Because no matter what I do, I told y'all, it goes to school of understanding, man. But my vote also goes to the Orthodox Moor. I think, like what he said, that Leviticus chapter 7 was kind of the cruncher on that one. He kind of laid down a good premise of showing that it was more of a righteous teacher. He even went into the concordance to show that certain words that you may think is alluding to a blood sacrifice is actually making reference to a righteous teacher. So it's like, that along with the premise, I think that the brother Yahuchanan didn't really have a clear breakdown of what he was trying to explain pertaining to the blood sacrifice. He laid down a solid premise, Brother Orthodox Moor, when he just said none of these words are even mentioned in Isaiah 53. So it was like everything now we got to go to something outside of Isaiah 53, which is cool. But the brother went to saying that it was a sin offering, but none of the things that was being done to Christ resemble a sin offering. But we do know for certain, according to the information that even Brother Yahuchanan sent, put out there, was pertaining to, like, the eating of the bread, the breaking of the bread, the eating, the drinking of the blood. It was kind of like a more metaphorical way of suggesting that, through that this person was sacrificing himself for sin. So it wasn't literal. So that's why they had to do that, because they wasn't literally going to eat a human and do these sacrificial things. So Brother Orthodox Moor had a better argument. With that being said, shout out to both debaters. Let's go argue about this over there in the argument league. Orthodox Moor gets to win. Orthodox Moor gets to move on to the next round, family. You already know how we do here on Solar Vision Debate League, man. This is for the title. So, once again, shout out to the Orthodox Moor. He has 4 voting points to 1 voting point. Yahuchanan has 1 voting, one PowerPoint to 4 PowerPoints on the part of Orthodox Moor. That's how he gets the win. With that being said, we'll see you guys tomorrow. This is the Solar Vision Debate League playoffs, man.